The Hour of Legends begins. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we highlight and discuss new series each week. But today we are back once again with more One Piece, which means more Done Piece, which also means that today my name is Josh, born to boil, Michaels, and I am joined by
Mehgan. Oden, more like oh damn Perrine.
more like Done Piece. Welcome back. Thank you for watching.
You try to up it, and it was already good. You could have said, oh, nice, and then you went in it again.
I could have just complimented it and moved on.
Yeah. Can we do a retake?
No. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of our Done Piece series. Today, we are going to be talking about Wano Act 3. This is our part 1 video. Like we've said in previous videos and previous streams, we have decided to split Act 3 into 4 parts as opposed to 2, which is going to, I think, make for a way better experience and just better episodes, better discussions. Today, we are going to be covering chapters 956 through 974. More specifically, I guess, the Oden flashback.
This is probably one of the top flashbacks for me thus far. Because not only does it have the lore, not only is it characters that we've seen, we know, we love, we're getting more, but also it was so emotional. So sad, and we get to see like what these people are fighting for. Finally, it's not just a figurehead. It's not just we just want to be with him. We just want to follow him because he is royalty, I guess, born into it. It's for different reasons entirely, and it was just like yes,
dude. Listen, this I had an experience reading this that I've never had reading anything. I don't think. I don't know where I said this, but I was, my body was making sounds that I didn't even know it could make. I was enthralled. Beautifully, this arc, or this part, right? This flashback beautifully weaves together bits of information that have been sprinkled out the story thus far. And I think it weaves them together so beautifully. Oden was set up to be this legend. And Oda, in this flashback, had to deliver on that, which is something that is such a daunting task. But I feel like he really delivered and once again, gave us a character and a character's backstory that lived up to these impossible expectations.
Yeah.
It
was super intentional because, you hear all these people talking about Oden, like Oden was so great. And, the Straw Hats never knew the guy. I mean, what they're fighting for the people that are on.
Well, maybe one of the Straw Hats met the guy,
but you know how it is when you're a kid. You're like, oh, your parents introduce you to people. You're like, oh yeah, and they see you years later. Like, oh my god, I was just you growing. You're like, yeah, you're that guy.
Who are you?
Gay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just amazing. I mean, what I love about One Piece is how it is so intertwined, and this is like a prime example of how Oda is just able to do that and pull it off. 100%, tenfold, so amazing.
Right.
And it was such a blast to read. And, me and you are both alike in that sense where that's what we love about a story. We love a good flashback episode. We love going in the past and seeing these characters when, they're not the characters that you know and love right now, but you love them because of what they went through. And you get to see their journey. And seeing, kitten and puppy,
yeah, I knew that was going to be a highlight for you.
Yeah. I mean, we saw a little, and I was like, honestly, I don't know why I thought this, but I didn't think that it would be this much of a full flush out. Was that fleshed out? A fleshed out
right? That it was going to be
this
fleshed out, right?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know that we would get that from Oden, so it was just so. Again, I can't use any other words. Spectacular. I mean, there's so many words that I could use to describe this, and it really was just so satisfying and at the perfect point in the story, and it really made you care so much about what is going on with these people
Dude.
and what they have to go through or went through too.
Dude, I already loved this group of characters, and with every chapter had grown to love them more and more, specifically with like Kinemon and Gang. But I became so endeared to them during this flashback, and I already was like, and Kinemon is the GOAT, dude. Kinemon is such an awesome character to me. I can't help but root for the guy now, knowing even more about his past. And we were kind of told that they were ruffians, before Oden. They sort of swore their allegiance to Oden, but man, just getting to see a young Kinemon, getting to see a young Kawamatsu, getting to see all of them young, and then one traitor, one bitch-ass traitor
Bro.
among them, which that was a reveal at the end that was like absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, because
chills down my spine, gave me goosebumps.
Because we're getting all this, like, Orochi is getting all this information, and you're like, who is their intel? Like, who is their guy? Like, is it just someone who's like spying on them? Is it someone who knows where their locations are at? It really didn't make sense until now. Of course. That's why he was able to do all the things he was able to do. And wow. Yeah, it was such a crazy reveal. Because usually in those things, you're like, oh, I could kind of guess who it would be. Because, sometimes they're played off to be a certain way, or there's moments where you see them like look to the side a certain way. But this one was like complete, like, huh?
Yeah.
Because he's been here for so long with us, it feels like.
Well, yeah, and this person was someone who had lost themselves in this role. And that was what was so kind of horrifying about their monologue that they delivered when they revealed themselves. But I also want to say, like, in this flashback, it seems like Oda really tells us, not only ties everything, weaves everything together, but tells us so much.
Yeah.
And it feels so close to what it just feels like we're so much closer to the end. I feel like I understand that statement he made so much more now. I mean, we got to see with our own eyes Goldie Roger discover the One Piece. We got to see him find it. We got to see that definitively. Oden, in his journal, stated that they found the answer to the void in history. They found the meaning behind the name of the D. They found the meaning and the purpose behind the ancient weapon. Every answer is there. And Roger, in the face of all of that, laughed. Chills down my spine. We got the reveal on top of that then, that since Roger was the first person to ever be there in 800 years, that he was the one to call it and name it Laugh Tale, which we saw in Stampede, of course. But, I mean, it held so much more meaning here.
Yeah. And people were like, oh, it's going to get spoiled. But even just the name, I wouldn't have understood the context until now.
His reaction in the face of the One Piece, the face of all of these answers. And I've been thinking about this since I've read this. He even says something to the effect of, and I wrote it all down, and we'll go more, we'll go deeper into it, but he says something to the effect of like, oh, Joy Boy, I wish I lived in your time, So there's more even information about Joy Boy and this message that was left behind, on top of what Roger also said to Whitebeard and in the presence of Oden, that shocked him, that shocked Oden, made Whitebeard laugh the same way. He said the same way
to Luffy and Sabo.
And the same
literally
thing
the
was
same
said. Yeah.
That's what I pointed out. I knew it. Remember we were reading those chapters, I was like, Luffy did not say King of the Pirates. He would have just said King of the Pirates. He said something else. Roger's saying the same thing. Him and Luffy are so similar, it's like scary.
Well, it's that inherited will, that will passed down, the will of Oden that's been passed through his vassals, through,
it's
Kinemon and Gang, and even into Momonosuke. It's just such a powerful concept. Like, holy shit, man. I was like...
And even, we kind of mentioned it before, we're going to be recording these really close together.
Yeah.
So we've already read
Yeah.
past this point, and there's something else that happens, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
This even adds more like to this. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. But that was like, I was like, no way.
Yeah, because
no
of the
way that they reacted the same way.
right.
They laughed it off. It's not taken seriously.
Yeah, and because too, like, of how this is what I've been thinking about nonstop, right? We have such a good sense for who Luffy is by this point. We know who he is, right? We completely understand him. So by that logic, then, him saying the same thing that Roger said, gauging Sabo and Ace's reaction, then Whitebeard and Oden's reaction, Whitebeard laughing, Oden being face cracked, being literally shook. I can't help but wonder what this title, this word, this thing that they want to be is. It can't be God. It can't be. I feel like after getting to know Roger more too, Roger doesn't care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy doesn't care about that. Luffy has stated so many times that he doesn't even want to be called a hero. He has no interest in the title of hero. He does what he does. He follows his heart. He does. He follows his own moral compass that points like truer north, I feel, than like
he doesn't
want
else. any of that, oh my God, Luffy, you're so amazing, you're so cool. Like, it's like, I'm just do what I do. He doesn't want any of the recognition. He doesn't want the fame, I guess.
So I thought, it can't be God, right? It can't be. Maybe he says like, I just want to be like truly free, but that just seems like it's not big enough to get that reaction from people.
Yeah.
And it was also something that Ace pretty much said when he was being led out to his execution in Marineford.
Yeah.
So it can't really be that, I don't think. I just don't know what it could be. Knowing Luffy,
I want to be the One Piece.
I want to be the One Piece. And now knowing that laughter plays such a big part in everything. The void in history, right? That's what's also crazy too. And that's what just like sent me down this spiral is the void in history. Whatever happened, and we hear the Neptunians, the Sea Kings, we hear them conversing about the return of this being, saying that this time it has to go well, meaning that previously, it didn't go so well.
Yeah.
So whatever happened in the void in history and everything that's happened since with O'Hara, everything, the elders, Emu, all of these figures, right? The fact that Roger found out the truth of all of that and laughed, because and
it's not only him, it's like everybody else. So that's what I'm saying. Is it like a joke? Is it like a, oh, Ligma, like Ligma is like Ligma, and it's like Ligma.
And then they get to the One Piece and it just says balls, and then it says from Joy Boy.
Yeah, and Joy Boy, you got me. And they're all like, oh my God, this guy's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's a Yo Mama joke.
It's a Yo Mama
what's
joke,
so funny? Maybe it is so simple. Maybe the answer's so simple, and that's why it's laughable.
It just says, it's kind of a dick joke. Like, dick so big it can fill the void of history.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
he's like, fuck, this is hilarious. But I mean, and we have to think too. Like, I mean, everyone must have known that he found out all this information. They even say it like, you're in trouble if they, they're gonna come after you now. And it's like, he went to go get executed. You would think that like everyone, unless they already know, the world government, but everyone would be trying to shake him down and get that info out.
Well,
by any means necessary.
It is also sort of how the government spun it, because Roger reveals here that they say this thing doesn't exist, but they also say that people are forbidden from going to this place. So he's like, putting two and two together, it's real, and we're gonna go there. But also when he learns, like, oh, that's what they're calling it. Like, they're calling me the king of the pirates. That was a title that the world government gave him. They're calling what we found the One Piece. I think it's just the government doesn't want anybody to know the truth. which is why they have him executed. But also, they don't want the pirates that are being born because of Roger. They don't want them to know that what Roger found was all of this information. So they call it the One Piece, this treasure, to maybe minimize it so that all of these other people just think they're looking for riches or something.
Yeah.
They kind of twist the narrative a little bit. It's just like that was so crazy. Oden as well. And there's so many things that happen, before we even get into the Oden flashback. I think it's like 2 chapters, but oh my God.
Yeah, we get more information about the reverie and what went down. And it has me really wondering. And I know Oda's trying to play us. Play the game. Oh, Sabo. Oh, porpecito, Sabito. It's like, no, he didn't die. Like, that would be insane for, like, to kill him once.
Right.
I'm back.
Right.
Kill him again. I'm dead. Like, that's no way. No way. I have a theory about it, but
I need to hear it. Because whatever it is, I don't think it's death. I don't think it can be death. But whatever it is, it was bad enough that, Makino in Windmill Village and even Danan at Mount Corvo were weeping.
Weeping with tears. We just got him back.
Yeah.
We just got him back. He can't be God.
I don't know.
There's no way.
Even Dragon, when it's brought to Dragon's attention, Dragon says, okay, there's no way of knowing this for sure. Like, we need to, find out the truth. We need to figure out the truth.
Yeah, Ivanka's like, no way would Sabo do that. Or no way this is true about Sabo.
But almost in a, they're just almost, like, Ivankov's almost just saying that to, convince, it's almost like he's trying to convince himself. Like, he's sort of frantic when he says that.
Yeah, but they have to know by now. The world government and the media and One Piece, they lie. They lie and they deceive. And you can't believe anything you read, just like today.
Very
or
much like
see.
today.
We might be holograms. You don't know.
I don't know about that, dude. I don't know where you heard that, but that's just not true.
There's glitch right now.
But yeah, dude. Oden himself, right? The legend and his story and his ending was, bro, I mean, at this point in the story, Oda's done so many flashbacks. And I don't know how he outdoes himself every single time. I mean, the last, really crazy emotional one with Corazon, and now here again with Oden, it's like, they keep topping themselves.
Well, I think it is just because of the long haul. Having these characters, knowing about these characters, hearing about these characters and what they've done, and you don't see them until chapters upon chapters upon volumes later. It is just this build up, and it always pays off. And I feel the longer the buildup is, the better it is. The better the flashback is. I mean, that's how I felt with Robin. We were and
right.
even Law too. We're when are we gonna get that Law? When Robin? When are we gonna get that? So yeah, it's just damn.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be good, and I wasn't expecting it to be this long. But it is his whole life. It isn't
right.
Just a moment.
And the fact that Oda chose to dedicate this much time to this flashback, I think is super important. And again, it feels like this is the end game. This is the end game. I know we're going into the final saga. All of us will be going into the final saga after Wano. But I mean, it really feels like it.
Yeah.
I was just at a loss for words. It took me a while to collect my thoughts, and I haven't had this experience in a long time and I've had One Piece has made me feel so many things, so many intense things, but the feeling of almost feeling lightheaded after I read what I read and having to walk around and just kind of digest and process everything, and I really just wanted to be left alone with my sort of thoughts and just sit with what I just read. That's a special feeling, man, that not every story can make you feel.
Yeah, I definitely felt that in the beginning of the kind of reveal about the whole Kinemon gang.
Right.
When they get to that dock port.
Right.
it was one of the most like ever, I think, since Abodi, of how like hopeless, like the
Right.
hopelessness, like I felt it was so emotional. Like it was so sad. It was so heart-wrenching. Like all of this plan, all of this preparation for like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was.
Yeah. And there were two major reveals, the reveal of the traitor and then the reveal of someone else that we'll get to. But I thought both of these reveals they definitely both caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty quiet reader. Mehgan, you usually more often will read something and have a reaction to it, right? Like you'll make a sound, or you'll start to tear up, or you'll laugh really loud. I might be feeling all those things on the inside, but I might not always be expressing them. But when it was revealed who someone was, not the traitor, but the other person, out loud, I was like, I even think after that, I went like, oh my God, this, like, it just made so much sense to me.
Yeah.
And it just fit. It was so well done, and it was so perfect. And it made me so excited for everyone. And like I said, I don't know, like after this, like Kinemon is like my guy. Like I just feel so connected to him too. More than anybody from the 9. I mean, I like so many of them.
Yeah.
But like, dude, fuck. Holy shit. This is the tip of the iceberg. And we have so many things we're going to go through. This is why, again, it's probably better that we decided to split this up into 4 parts.
Yeah. Do we have a highlighted comment?
We do. We have a highlighted comment. And I just want to say that, as you can see, we're repping some of our Done Piece merch, some of our Done Piece shirts. And if you were tuning in expecting some cosplay, fear not, because
the next
3 in a row, going out with a bang, the next 3 in a row are going to be stacked. Like, I'm like with cosplay, and we already have almost everything we need. We already have them all planned out, and we're really excited.
Yeah, I feel so weird to not be like
right,
in like full in cosplay,
yeah.
Like with the wig on. It feels and like it just feels so odd to me.
Yeah, it feels good to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah, expect us to don some pretty fun cosplays.
Yeah.
In the next upcoming episodes, and for us to finish out Wano strong.
Mm-hmm.
But before we go through beat by beat, we do have some highlighted comments. Thank you so much, Mehgan, for keeping me on track. You always keep me on track.
Welcome.
The first comment comes from Tyreek Smith, who says, there's a really interesting theory regarding Caribou. Oda revealed art of what Mr. 10 from Baroque Works would have looked like, and he suspiciously looks very similar to Caribou. Maybe he is Mr. 10 and will eventually tell Sir Crocodile about Poseidon and Luffy. Reason I wanted to pick this comment too is because obviously our Parvision collab that we did, there was a discussion about Caribou.
Yes.
And Parvision made a comment, asked us some questions, reminded us of some things about Caribou, and just kind of in a way told us to just be aware of those things, or remember those things going forward. I don't know if I'm looking too deep into it or not, but there is a character that we meet, the captain of the Rocks Pirates, and this person looks awfully freaking similar to Caribou, dude.
And it is interesting because, we do get that statement again with a person who it definitely could be regarded as a wild beast with Roger and Whitebeard. I think either Roger says it or Whitebeard says it, but he goes like, oh, I feel or I sense a wild beast.
Yes.
And it's the same thing that Luffy said about Caribou. So it's like, these people know what power feels like. These people know what power looks like. Like, that would not just be a line that Oda says twice.
As a throwaway.
No. I mean, no.
A wild beast, then, Caribou maybe being stronger than he's led on to be, and a descendant of the captain of the Rock's pirates, possibly, potentially, theoretically.
I mean, anything can happen now. I mean, to have like a
Roger's true enemy.
yeah, because this what Oda's doing now is, I mean, he was kind of playing with it before, like Apu kind of being already like in Kaido's shit. I guess not in his shit literally. It's probably a big shit
Bro,
though.
fuck Apu. Bro, I never liked that fool from the moment I met him.
I never liked him either.
From the moment I met him.
I never liked him either. He's probably my least favorite worst generation. He's the worst of the worst generation. Sorry.
The moment I saw that fool, I was like, this fool sucks.
Yeah, he's aight. But I think that Oda's definitely intentionally giving us these things of betrayal because maybe something along the line that we don't expect at all to be someone who betrays.
Right, right.
So I think this is like super purposeful, and we see it again and again in Wano. So it is very interesting that he's starting to set this up now and to be a thing that is not just going to be done, twice. It's going to continue on. I mean, it only makes sense. Like, they're pirates, and pirates are not like always the best people. The Straw Hats are
an exception.
A great exception. But pirates are pirates. They're gonna loot. They're gonna steal. They're gonna betray. So it's definitely a theme that will continue, and I'm scared.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
even well, I would say especially because of the Parvision comment, that parallel, I was able to
hone it in.
Did sort of notice that. I don't know if that means anything, but for him to be a descendant of the captain, Roger's true enemy, the captain, someone who was above Big Mom, someone who was above Kaido, sure, when they were younger, but still.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if that was in their prime, I mean, they're not in their prime now. Like, how terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Last little quick short comment. This is a short one. Just wanted to shout this one out too. This is from If You Know Me, You Don't, who just says, Luffy, I'm stuck on the sun stuff now. They say, Luffy had a sunflower shirt in Dressrosa too. Another maybe nod to Luffy's connection to the sun on top of what you said about his scar.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with this. So, I just wanted to include that one.
Yeah.
Okay. We have so much more to get through. We have so many thoughts, so many things we didn't even touch on. This is a very dense flashback, a very dense chunk of chapters. So we're going to start going through it beat by beat and really give time to, usually we give time to more time to highlight moments, but bro, every panel, every page of this felt like a highlight moment to me. That's how crazy it was. But where we begin is Garp speaking with Shirahoshi and Neptune on Fishman Island about the reverie.
Garp is on Fishman Island. I just love it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like it so much. I was like, oh.
Getting a little bit more about Garp and his past, too.
I always knew Garp was goated. Everyone knows Garp is a fucking goat. But, he is,
yeah,
goat central. He's Goatopia.
He's Goatopia. Yeah.
I mean, this man is a legend. He is one of, if not, one of the strongest characters in One Piece.
Yeah, for sure.
And you just don't even really, because, he's a goofy, he's like Grandpa Garp, Grandpa Garpy.
But he's always been a strong dude. We saw that in Marineford especially. We saw that before, I believe.
Yeah.
When we were learning more about, his training. And his training with Luffy is what I was going to say. But even when we learn more and these things about who he was are, again, sprinkled throughout. These people fear him, or there are these legends, or there are these stories about this person. And so, yeah, you start to put together, he ain't just strong.
Yeah.
He's on a whole nother level. And seemingly without a devil fruit has just... Right? Seemingly without a devil fruit?
He for sure... he's a hockey guy. Correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That would be insane if he was.
But he's for sure he for sure we've seen him use hockey for sure.
Yeah.
Of course. That's no question about that. But I just mean I am pretty sure he's done all of this without without a devil fruit too. So
Yeah.
this is another level of impressive
Mhm.
to me.
Yeah, I mean, going in raw into the One Piece row without a devil fruit. I mean, you got to be up there.
And we also don't even still know if Roger had a devil fruit. It looks like he didn't, right? But I don't know. The way he clashed with Whitebeard, I don't know.
Bro.
What?
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
What?
That wouldn't make any sense. I was saying, like, if Roger had the same fruit as Luffy,
Right, yeah, that wouldn't, yeah.
because he would have been stretching all over the place.
Right. Or maybe, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he just got to a point where he just like was past that. But yeah,
He was
I don't
past
think,
stretching.
yeah, he was like, I've awakened this devil fruit. And maybe that's what it looks like. I mean, I doubt it, but well, like we say, anything's possible.
Anything.
But yeah, dude, seeing Garp talking to Neptune and Shirahoshi, it's just, yeah, it kind of warms my heart too. And I love Garp. But he talks about the river and he says that this one in particular was a bad one. Was a very bad one.
It was a bad one.
It was a bad one. He's like, I'm sorry this was the first one you guys have been to because this one was bad.
Yeah.
We usually have better reveries than this.
Yeah, they're usually a good time.
Right, like when you invite someone to a party and the party
yeah.
kind of like, it's not, someone gets in a fight or something.
For sure.
Like they're usually way cooler.
Yeah,
than
like
that.
your group of friends that you're introducing to another
Right.
group of friends for the first time, and you're like, like hopefully everything is fine. I mean, it usually is, but the one time you invite them, the
of
one
course.
time shit pops off.
Of course.
They're like, yeah, maybe next time don't invite me. Maybe next time think about it. And it's like, well, no, they usually, and you try to vouch for them, but they made their assessment.
Yeah, their mind's made up.
Yeah, you've known these people for years, but they've only known them for a couple hours.
Right. The Kingdom of Alabasta is also brought up, and Shirahoshi. This is why, like, I was careful to write down exactly sort of like how these lines were delivered because I think that a lot of what happens here, Oda is like you said, he is playing with us, and he wants us to. He's leading us. He's leading us with the way he's writing, and he wants to lead us to a certain destination or conclusion, I guess.
Assumption in our brains.
But
Mm-hmm.
I was very careful to write down like how these words were said because Garp didn't say anything about Alabasta. Garp didn't say, well, he said something about Alabasta. He didn't say anything about Vivi. We have maybe put that together because of what we saw. We saw Emu kind of holding a picture of Vivi.
Mm-hmm.
But Garp mentions Alabasta, not Vivi. Shirahoshi reacts and says, Vivi? Question mark. So, but then that's where it kind of cuts. So it's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, even like just like putting it together. Yeah. You're like, what do you mean? Vivi what?
Yeah.
Vivi what, Shirahoshi? Vivi what?
Exactly. Let's go. Give me a little bit more.
Spit it out. Spit it out.
Spit it out. Then we cut to Cypher Pole trying to silence Morgans. And Morgans, I know for whatever reason, Mehgan, you have an affinity for Morgans. I have a lot more respect for him after this incident.
Yeah,
He
I
has
don't know
journalistic
why.
integrity.
He does. He should.
I mean, he should, but bro, most people in this world don't.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I like him. I mean, I liked him before. He's just such a funny looking guy.
Yeah.
He's just like a bird man, and he's just like, I am a reporter. That's how he probably sounds.
Yeah, for sure. He's old timey newsy.
Or he's
a
like,
newsy.
oh no, I can't. I'll think of
Like
it.
you should like incorporate like an old timey newsy voice with like also like a squawking voice at the same time, like extra.
Yeah.
It's
He's
kinda
more
like,
regal than that, though.
yeah.
He's
yeah.
more. He has.
But he's also kind of slimy though.
Yeah, he's like, well, I say that the thousand.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I mean, this would all be solved if we,
listen to the dub.
right? If we listen to the dub, or maybe we
Yeah.
would get a better sense if we watch the anime, which we're saving because we want to be able to react to it. So we're reading everything from this point on. I have Mehgan has screenshot episodes that people say that we have to react to, and to keep those reactions pure, we are waiting to watch until after we do our read through. That way, we can experience it
Yes.
together, like honestly, for the first time. So yeah, who knows? Who knows what he sounds like?
I think whole cake. He was definitely talking.
Right.
Yeah, we heard him then.
It's a
We
good
heard him
point.
sing.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
heard
good
him
point.
sing. We've already heard it.
Anyway,
But, yeah, I just
not
can't
to
remember.
get caught up on his voice.
But yeah, he's cool. He's cool. He beat down someone. I was like, okay.
Well, he beat down Cypher Pole. Cypher Pole tried to go there, and
Cypher Pole's a
well, yeah, Cypher Pole sucks. The world government fucking sucks. But there's a section now. There's a section now of the world government that is like, damn, am I kind of rooting for these guys? Kobe, Drake seem to be a part of this secret organization.
Hemlepo.
With
Hempepo.
Helmeppo, yeah, seem to be a part of this.
Smoker.
Maybe Smoker.
They're not in that, but they're
Right.
just like, Marines that we like.
But I think it's called Sword, I believe.
It's SWORD, Top Secret Special Force. And this is where we find out that Drake from the Six.
Right. Drake from the Six, right.
Drake from the Six is one of those SWORD members.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty shocking. Another reveal that I did not expect.
I mean, I knew, that's what I said in a previous episode. Like, I knew it just didn't make sense from what we had learned of Drake and Saboti. It just didn't make sense for him to be doing what he was doing. Hawkins even didn't make sense. But then it was explained, obviously, that he was betrayed and had a choice, and the odds were against him. The odds were higher if he sided with Kaido, so he did what he had to do. Drake still, I didn't know if Drake fell into that.
Yeah.
And it still didn't kind of make sense to me, because I would think that against all odds, he would still not do that.
Mm-hmm.
This makes sense that he's part of this secret organization.
It makes sense because, that whole, what we were told about Law being taken by Doflamingo after everything that happened, right?
Right.
Or not taken. No,
No.
he went on his own. He went on his own.
Drake.
Drake was
mentioned in that.
That's Drake was taken by the Marines.
Right.
With the scar.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yes. But see, that's the thing. And we learned so much about Garp. So I think, okay, I don't know, but I'm thinking you got Dragon, head of the revolution. You do have the Marines, you do have the Emperors and the Warlords, who are now, we're going to find out, have been disbanded. And we know about CP0, we know about CP9, we know about these secret government forces. Something, because of who Drake is, because of who Kobe is, makes me feel like this group is a group of the good ones within the government, like a Fujitora, even to an extent, like a Garp, like you were saying, like a Smoker, who maybe have banded together against, or, without informing the elders of their group. And they're kind of working for the Marines, but for justice more so than the elders, because we know that the Emperors or the Admirals are under the elders and have to answer to even the Celestial Dragons, which Garp never wanted to do, which is the only reason he never took that position. So again, maybe Garp's part of this, like, not a revolution within the Marines, but a group of people within the Marines that are trying to,
take out all the bads.
Yes,
take out all the
pick out all the bad apples.
bad apples. Yeah.
Right. But what Cypher Pole apparently was trying to get Morgus to cover up was that the disbanding of the Warlord system. That's when we cut to Ivankov, who is hysterical, saying, "This is Sabo we're talking about. It's impossible." Dragon plans to ascertain the truth, and Koala's kind of in disbelief.
Yeah, Koala's like, Sabo.
Yeah.
Tears in her eyes.
Stelly, Nolan, the liar's favorite character, is looking at the paper too, like, huh? My brother was there? Huh?
My brother?
My brother? Huh?
Huh?
But again, we talked about this in the beginning. Whatever happened to Sabo, we see Makino in Windmill Village and Danan weep at this news.
I mean, even Dofi in the cell, his little newspaper.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Dofi reading like the cartoons in the newspaper,
right.
Like over and over
The
and
Germa
over
cartoons,
again.
the Germa propaganda cartoons.
Yeah. There's like Garfield. He's like, oh.
Right. It's like Germa, and then there's like their version of Garfield, which would be like Garpfield. And it's like based on Garp.
Yeah. He hates it. He hates it, but like he likes reading it because he doesn't have anything else to do.
Right. It's like Garpfield, and then like, Sengoku's kind of like John,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like Peanuts.
Right.
It's like
C Peanuts.
It's like Jimbei.
And then you have like a Charlie Brown Lucci, I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like Woodstock would be Lucci's bird.
Yeah.
Bro, let's do a One Piece like comic strip, like old school comic strip.
Yeah.
That'd be sick. I like that. That makes me happy. That makes me smile. But yeah, Doflamingo's reading it, and Impel Down and Blackbeard is telling everybody to kind of pack their bags because if the Navy's going to take it, he says, take it, I might as well claim my prize. So here's what I'm thinking, and this is where I want you to get into your.
He's like, I did all the work. He says
too.
something regarding that.
I think something happened. Number one, we do learn later, right, about this group, the SSG, which I was going back to look and try to like ascertain whether this was the same group, the secret sword. Whatever they're called, but that acronym isn't SSG. We find out later that SSG is the special science team, right? Presumably the special science team that Vegapunk,
yes,
is a part of. So when Blackbeard delivers this line, everybody pack their bags. If the Navy's going to take it, I might as well claim my prize. I feel like he's talking about the flame fruit. I feel like he's talking about Sabo's devil fruit. We know that usually for someone to lose their devil fruit, they have to die. But maybe because of Vegapunk being there and Vegapunk's experience with devil fruits, that he was somehow able to separate it from Sabo in some way without killing him. But his fate is similar to that of Kuma's, where he's like being ridden around on by like celestial dragons or worse. Or worse. But you had a theory. I want to know what your theory was. About Sabo?
I pretty much think that, I feel like Oda's playing us and trying to make us think that Sabo's dead for some reason. I don't think he's dead. I think maybe he was framed for something.
Right.
I think that someone else tried to possibly assassinate, because we have attempted murder. We have one murder and one attempted murder. Whoever died, I don't know who it is. It might have been Sabo killing someone, but in the process, maybe the elders or Emu tried to take out Vivi in order to acquire Alabasta some way, somehow. Vivi probably knows that it wasn't Sabo, but he was put up for that crime. So now he's going to be put into custody and maybe also get assassinated. It might
executed,
be
yeah.
Executed, yeah. There might be a thing in the paper that says like Sabo's execution, just like Ace.
And that actually, now that you're saying that, makes me want to walk back what I said a little bit, because if they are setting him up to be executed, that's why Blackbeard is going, because he's like, if they're going to execute him,
his fruit's going to be around.
Yeah, then I'm going to go collect my prize, kind of thing. So it could be that as well. It could be that as well. I would even argue yours might even be a little bit more likely.
Because it's too likely, because it makes sense. Like, we just got him back.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be put up for execution, just like Ace. That's maybe why Dadan was so like
every time.
Dadan was so emotional because like two of her kids,
right, are about to be executed.
Well,
one was, and the other one is maybe
government. Like,
yeah. I think yours is a little more likely. But then we find out, this is exactly around the time that we find out about Drake, because Kobe speaks with Drake, and it's revealed that they're a part of the top secret special force, and he is the captain of Sword. Drake tells Kobe about Kaido and Big Mom's alliance, and this is interesting too about CP0 meeting. About CP0 meaning that the government is going to Wano to conduct deals of some kind, right?
Yeah, with Orochi.
Yes. So again, it already seems like they're working kind of against the government, or they don't get the full picture. They don't have all the information. That's why they created this special force to kind of like figure out the truth. And
well, because he was, he's pretty much infiltrating Kaido's forces in order to get information, because people can't leak out information from Wano. You don't get any information, vice versa. So that's like the best way to get intel.
But he also seems pretty like untrusting of the government to say like, yeah, CP0 is here, which means the government is, the higher ups are doing some shady shit here in Wano, and they're not telling us about it. So we need to go figure it all out. Yeah. I mean, I actually really like Drake a lot too. A lot.
I feel like after what we read here, I was kind of like on the fence about him, but obviously reading more, I do like him more.
Okay, well, don't give away too much, man.
I'm not. That's all I'm saying. Shit.
This is
I'm
when
just getting
Kobe,
ahead of it.
Yeah, this is when Kobe says that he's also on his way to capture Boa because the warlords have been
I don't
their
know
power
why.
has been taken from them.
Yeah, I face cracked. I was like, he's going to get Boa? And then, oh, yeah, obviously, because they're disbanded.
Yeah.
That means obviously that they're kind of up for grabs now.
And it was cool, too, seeing that, the reason, the dissolution of the 7 warlord system, the reason it was kind of decided was because of Riku and the king of Alabasta, Vivi's father, Nefertali, I believe, shared their stories about, and we talked about that, too, them having very similar experiences.
Yeah, not good ones.
With warlords, like
Yeah.
Croc and Dolphy, what they did to both of them in the beginning, at least.
Under just like the protection of
Right.
being a warlord,
Yes.
like untouchable. And he's like, yeah, this can't happen again.
Right.
And it was funny to see like obviously Buggy and Boa. But Buggy's just like, damn, I was just made one of these fools, and now you're gonna take it away from me and arrest me? Like, that's not fair. Like, I'm not doing any like bad shit like that yet. But yeah. I mean, Boa, everyone's Amazon Lily, they're all like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? And she's just like,
Her
like,
line was so badass.
the reason they chose us, or the reason they chose us was because of our strength. And she was just like chilling. She's like, Boa's goated too. Yeah, she's goated. I mean, especially after watching Stampede, I was like, I wish we saw her more in
Watching
action.
her do shit in Stampede,
Yeah.
I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Like, she was doing some crazy shit in Stampede. And it just kind of like, honestly, that movie made me really like appreciate her power
Yeah.
even more. But yeah, we see Buggy, Mihawk. Mihawk's a little excited, actually, about it all. We even see Weevil and, like we said, Boa. Then we see Akainu talking to Fujitora about the decision, and Akainu said, he was against that decision.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you really look at it, the warlords at beck and call, pretty much if there is a war, they have to fight along the government. No, they don't have that anymore. They're like lacking like hella in the strength department, like hella. And I'm sure after this news that they're gonna find out about Big Mom and Kaido, like they're probably sweating.
Well, they are sweating, but they talk about being able to fill that void that will be left, that hole left by the warlords. They'll be able to fill it by putting their trust into the SSG, which is the Navy's special science team.
So what, they're gonna now do exactly what Kaido's doing and give everyone devil fruits?
Well, they've already been working on the pacifistas.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
One thing that they have, and then
But the pacifistas, I mean, I feel like every time I see the pacifistas like in action, like the stronger the Straw Hats get, they seem like not a threat at all.
Right.
Like they get taken out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about putting the pacifistas up against like characters that we've seen in Wano thus far. It does not seem likely. Even the Big Mom pirates, I mean, they're taken out pretty quickly. So,
but the thing about them is they can always be upgraded, and they can always be things that we don't even know about.
and there could always be a lot of them.
The stuff that Caesar was doing, like, again, keeping in mind that Caesar is a diet Vegapunk. I mean, Caesar, we find out more about the numbers and what, what he was, all these things that he was creating, and like, just like what he was working on, and his artificial devil fruits, and like Vegapunk's, like, original artificial devil fruit, I guess. Like, we find out what even Caesar was capable of. So assuming Vegapunk is way ahead of that with whatever they have up their sleeve. And I'm assuming that he is part of that SSG. But they also talk about the return of Rocks because of the alliance with Big Mom and Kaido.
And that was even crazy that they're like, we don't really have a lot of information on these pirates. We just know that they live because everything was wiped out. It's like they live in memory. I'm just like, what?
Well, the government, like,
they squashed it.
Yeah, hit it again.
Yeah,
again.
They hit that and like the whole everything that they went through, like God Valley.
Yeah.
It's not on the map because we erased it. Like, huh?
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, reacting how I was reacting. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like a little history lesson. He's just like, I'm going to lay down some knowledge on you guys.
Bro,
right
yeah,
now.
Sengoku is so funny. Yeah. I mean, his reason for it was pretty, like, ironclad. Like, he had his line was like, yeah, dude, I mean, pirates are humans, and if we learn more about them and their relationships, like, their acts will become more predictable and less unpredictable. And I was like, okay. Damn.
And I think I'm not mistaken here, but like when they were naming down the Rocks pirates, like Shiki was on that list, right?
Yeah, well, the Golden Lion, who I assume is Shiki.
Yeah.
Shiki, the Golden Lion.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
And you also noticed something else too about I think these are the group of pirates, right? Maybe outside of the Golden Lion, but was it the Silver Axe? And Captain John and Wang Zi.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's confirmed, but it makes sense. Back in Thriller Bark, there's the panel where like I think it's like Frankie, Robin, I forgot who else. They're like up against all of these like, obviously zombie people. And I think Moria already confirmed that he had Captain John. Let me see. I have it written somewhere. Yeah, so Captain John's body he already had. So the two next to him would be like the Silver Axe and Wang Zi guy, which is like there's like literally a guy with a silver axe.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy that just has like a long like goatee, but he's like half elephant or something.
Yeah.
But it would make sense. I was like, it would make sense that he would have all of them. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, because we learned about
crazy.
Moria even a little bit more.
Yeah, the Gecko Pirate.
Yeah, and the
seeing
Gecko
a young
Pirates
Moria.
A young Moria, like, okay.
Okay, Moria.
But yeah, so I wrote down a timestamp, so I'll make sure to include that panel where, and again, it's not confirmed, but I mean, it's almost definitive. I mean, just looking at the silhouettes, I mean.
Yeah, and everyone's kind of like unanimous, like, yeah, this is probably them.
Yeah. But yeah, the Navy covered up their deeds, and 38 years ago at God Valley, Garp was the one who took him out. Garp doesn't like to talk about it because he had to work with Roger, and he had to work kind of with the Celestial Dragons, but he only did that because he was protecting their slaves. Like, he had zero interest in protecting the Celestial Dragons, but he knew that if any harm, were to befall them, that it would also mean harm on the slaves. He was there to protect the slaves, and in turn,
yes,
protected the Celestial Dragons.
And just all of this information being brought to light that there were Marines, that fought alongside pirates for a greater cause. Like, it is setting up. Like, there is no way. I mean, I don't know if Kaido or Big Mom, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're even going to be able to touch them. I don't know if, I have no idea, but if it's building up to a war, like, there's no way that the Marines aren't going to have to get involved and, like, fight alongside the Straw Hats, fight alongside the Worst Generation.
Yeah.
It's just inevitable.
Yeah. That, I think Sword is going to be the one to do it. And maybe, begrudgingly, maybe even Akainu. That would be kind of crazy. For Akainu to have to team up with
because even
Luffy?
Even Akainu saying, like, we don't have the manpower. Like, that's, you're a man of power. Like, that is like, you have you have a crazy ass devil fruit power. You have like all these people, and you saying that, like, you're kind of like shaking in your boots right now. Like, that's intense. Yeah. Like, that's telling. Yeah. And I kind of like them kind of squabbling around and of running around like it's like SpongeBob in his own mind. He's like, everything's on fire. Like, I just feel like that's Akainu's brain right now.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see him like having to like, begrudgingly team up with Luffy. And, they did, dissolve the warlord system. But again, the Straw Hats are an exception to that. Thereby, anybody by extension would be an exception. So their fleet as well. I
don't know if Akainu, I don't think, Luffy usually is very accepting of other people saying like, hey, I'm kind of good now. Like, let's work together. He's like, okay. But if Akainu were to do that, he'd be like, fuck, no, I'm going to fucking kill you right where you stand, bitch.
Yeah. He is the one person that.
No way.
He is the one person that Luffy would probably have the hardest time.
There's no way.
Ever forgiving or teaming up with.
Yeah, no, until he kills him.
No matter kind of what, honestly.
No, literally, anything he does. Really, truly. Like, I don't see any possible way that he could ever redeem himself in Luffy's eyes, ever.
Unless Luffy and Akainu have to fight to settle it.
And it lasts a fucking 2 weeks, and Akainu dies.
Yeah, and Akainu dies.
Yeah, sorry.
I like that. I like that. But yeah,
he's just doing his job, okay?
The island.
He did nothing really that bad.
Yeah,
It's the same group of people
don't
that say
offend
it's the same.
Akainu.
It's the same group of people that say that like Griffith did nothing wrong. Like they're the
Right.
same. Yeah,
Right.
they're one and the same.
Griffith did do some pretty fucked up shit, though. I mean, I would argue Griffith did some the shit he did was a little more fucked up.
Yeah.
Akainu did some really fucked up, but Griffith is a whole other level of fucked up.
Yeah. They're not on the same level, but I'm talking about the people that support them both.
Right.
They're kind of, you know.
But yeah, we find out that the island vanished without a trace, like you said. And Roger's greatest foe was the captain of Rox D. Quebec.
I think.
Which I'm thinking is maybe Carbu's ancestor. Maybe
his
that might
Faja.
be, maybe his father. Maybe his just ancestor in some way. I don't know if it's enough time for him to be his grandfather. I don't know. But it might be his grandfather. Might be Caribou's grandfather.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is another person with a D in his name.
A
Rox
D.
Quebec.
Yeah. And seeing too, like, right, immediately after this, getting told all this information, we get to see like silhouettes of like a younger Big Mom, which was cool.
Yeah, bro. I now I understand why she has so many kids. Damn.
They're
Now I get
releasing.
it.
They're releasing. I think like a spicy Big Mom figure.
Sold. She kind of looks like, well, with her pink hair,
No, but I like Big Mom now.
Oh, sold.
Yeah, sold. Give me
Sold.
money. Yeah, she looks cool. But seeing
Bro,
all the
like an erect Zorro figure, but with just like Big Mom now. Bro, add to cart, dude.
she's like laying on her side, like lifting up her dress.
Right. No, I mean, ain't no dress about it, I'm talking in the buff.
Oh,
Talking
I mean,
in
I'm
the
sure you
buff.
could take everything off.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe she has, Zeus blocking one titty.
It's kind of like the Ragnarok. Was it Records of Ragnarok?
Right.
And they have like the two guys holding up that girl's
Right.
boobs.
Prometheus and Zeus are just kind
Yeah.
of like floating right there on her nipples like that,
She'd give
kinda
like
right
she'd
there.
give like her soul to her nipples and they talk.
That's a threesome. Let's go. Damn. Just suck my soul out, dude. Big Mom, dude. How much lifespan? I'm like, you can have it all.
We get to see some bounties.
Some new bounties. Yes.
Ones that have not been revealed to the public, I guess, or taken off or whatever.
Yeah, specifically Rogers, right? And
Yeah.
Whitebeard's too. But these are also new bounties for Kaido, Shanks, Big Mom, because their bounties have gone up because now they don't have the warlords to help them in any way.
Yeah.
So,
And-
their bounties went up a lot.
Yeah, and even like they're talking about like either I think it's like Roger and Whitebeard, like Big Mom and Kaido's bounty combined like surpasses that.
Right.
By so much.
Well, I have it in order, right? So it would be, and this is what's kind of interesting if you look at it just on a bounty level. I have the exact numbers written down, but I feel like that's just kind of boring to go through and to just read numbers, right? But ranking them, because they don't tell you them or deliver them in order. They deliver them out of order.
Yeah.
So Kaido's bounty, excluding Whitebeard and Roger, Kaido's bounty is actually the highest.
Mm.
And then under Kaido is Big Mom. And then under Big Mom is Shanks. And then under Shanks is Blackbeard.
That makes sense. I mean, the three emperors would be the highest.
Right. But
Of
I
course.
just maybe assume that Shanks would be a little bit higher than that. And maybe he is. He just hasn't done enough. He hasn't been loud enough. Because that's the thing with bounties, I feel like. If you lay low, and they also talk about Shanks' crew, like, whereas Big Mom and Kaido, and honestly, maybe even Big Mom, like, well, that's not entirely true. I'm just saying, they have capable people underneath them. But the way they kind of talk about Shanks' crew is that, like, almost everybody is equally as capable as he is in a way, like a crew of like almost all equals or something to that effect. I could have understood that. But maybe, again, I feel like if Shanks is laying low.
I mean, he
then-
definitely is. I mean, he doesn't have, Kaido has like Wano pretty much. Big Mom has Whole Cake. Like, she has all of these islands that she pretty much rules over. And she has people that she rules over, like, created this whole, like, society where she's, like, the boss. So it's like Shanks doesn't really have that.
Right.
So it makes sense that his is lower than the two of them because they're kind of really doing the damn thing with their power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when, Sengoku, and you laughed out loud when you read this. Sengoku talks to Akainu, and he questions like Odin's connection to everything. Because you're like, yeah, no shit, Odin
He's like, I don't think Odin has any connection in any of this.
No, he wonders what Odin's connection is.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, you have no idea.
Yeah. This is where... and
I just wanted to point out some quick SBS stuff.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Like the cover pages too, like Lola and Chiffon, like this whole journey
right.
that they're going on. I just can't wait for their reunion, obviously.
Yeah.
It's very cool to see. And I did really like someone submitted in the SBS like the anthropomorphic versions of like Mihawk's sword knight and his little like cross-shaped knife. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
It was so cute. The person drew it themselves, and it was like an older lady and like a little girl, and they were like his swords. And they're drawn as like
cool.
like people, and Oda's just like, this is sick, and you know, because the guy was like, hey, how would you draw them? And he drew them like super crudely, and just like, I think you did a better job, but it was just so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. I didn't see that. Was
and
that
all this talk with like Mihawk being a sword? I mean, people were like, there's no way he could be a sword, but I mean, come on, like that'd be super sick. And for this to be in an SBS and just have like an anthropomorphic version of his two weapons, like. It was very interesting, but it was cute.
Possible.
It was very. I like those drawings.
Yeah, I'm bummed I missed that, but I'm glad you brought it up. So this is when we cut back to the present, or back to Wano for a second. Orochi's heading to Kaido's for the fire festival. Kin and gang arrive, but with no one to greet them.
I can't. I could feel the water on me. I could smell the sea. I could smell the desperation.
Now I'm there.
I could taste the tears. I mean,
the salt. It's like the salt from the ocean or the salt from the tears between the
both.
two of them.
Which one's saltier?
Which one was saltier?
The tears.
Yeah.
And it was just so heart-wrentching.
No, it really was. I mean, because they talked about it previously about this 20-year plan. Like, damn, this 20-year plan that other people didn't have the privilege of just being, cutting the line and getting sent forward in time. They had to live out those 20 years. So it's like, damn. I mean,
it's just all the preparation, all of the connections, everything that's happened thus far, and to just be greeted by like, wait, is anyone? And Kinimon's just like, no, like we have to do it, and everyone's just like, literally, like stop, stop. Like everyone's just like, don't say anymore. Like you're breaking my heart with every sentence you say.
Yeah.
And I just felt that like so heavy.
And we find out that Orochi basically had blown up the bridges, blown up the ships, Sunny included, all blown up.
That was wild.
Yeah. Because of intel he received.
Oh, Binche intel.
Oh, intel. Interesting.
Really interesting stuff there.
Wonder who that could be. You fucking coward.
You red-haired son of a bitch.
Yeah, you Ronald McDonald ass looking fool.
Yeah.
So that's when we cut to the 39-year Oden flashback. And that's like the majority of the rest of this. And it was amazing from start to finish. We open on a flourishing Wano and a young Suru and Ken Kinemon stealing money. And this whole white boar situation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was a really cool way to open everything.
Really
and it was really cool to open it on Kinemon and Suru and her and her shop, right? And their child, getting to know more about their relationship. They were childhood friends and their dynamic, right? Because we know that they end up together, but to see him being this scumbag,
stealing money from her wallet,
stealing money from her, dude.
Yeah.
It was.
Are you doing this again? I'm gonna rip out your heart. And
yeah.
Like okay.
And while this is kind of happening, we have like Odin's father's assistant who's like reading him all of Odin's mishaps and offenses before he was even 18 years old. And he was like going to pleasure districts.
He was going to brothels at age 6. He was kidnapping women, but they could leave whenever they wanted to.
He was freeing them from a worse situation, I believe.
I mean, and now, looking back, I think he's 18 here.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He just has it. Everyone's enthralled with him.
Oh yeah.
All the women are like, gunk.
I mean, he was like going against the Yakuza at like age 10.
I loved all this because it is again, like another example of like how you are raised doesn't necessarily mean that you'll go on the same path. Like he is someone of like technically royalty. He could have just fit in this box that his dad wanted him to fit into, but he was like, nah. And he doesn't use it as like I'm gonna do this because I am the son. Like, no, he never he just does his own shit. And he's not the best person, and he's not a great guy, but
I like when someone like that in a fortunate situation says like, "No, I want to find my own path. Like, I don't want to participate in all this bullshit. Like, I kind of just want to go be a human, and I kind of just want to go live,
gain knowledge,
and gain like just
life experience,
live my truth."
Yeah. I mean, he is still 18. He's very young.
But yeah, he's a little rebellious, and that's why Oden sort of banishes him from disowns him, kind of banishes him from the capital.
Yeah, the harem war.
The big harem war, yeah.
And all the men of the women that he was just taking were like just
because they were bad dudes. I believe he was taking them from bad situations. And that they just wanted to stay with him, and because they were free to go if they wanted to go. Which is very important, a very important line to
I know,
include.
I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we meet Denjiro, the swindler. And our first introduction to Oden, first we see him kind of walking down very cockily down the street. I don't even know if that's a word, but cockily down the street. His walk, his gait is very it was a little goofy, but it was also like it's legendary.
He's a wide stance.
Yeah, he's got yeah. I was captivated by his gait. I was like, okay,
sure,
his
gait.
His gait. The gait says a lot about a man. Okay?
Yeah, definitely. It's like you're walking that wide for a reason,
Yes, Mehgan. Very good. Very perceptive, Mehgan. Yes. But Denjiro is obviously someone we've heard of, never really met, but we get introduced to him here. And then we find out the whole fiasco with the boar and the mountain god, which is the smaller boar's mother or whatever. This giant white boar that they call the mountain god, which Odin slices through, and eventually takes the blame for, to kind of save Kinemon's skin.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I've already done so much shit. What's another thing to the list? I'm already disowned anyway.
But the way we were even introduced to him before that too, I just thought this was a really cool way to introduce him. He's like eating on someone's grave, essentially. And
someone's
like,
dead. No, it's not even grave. It's literally like their dead body.
Right,
like,
they're being
there's
cremated.
A skull, and there's a whole body. And
they're being cremated.
He's going to town.
And he's cooking soup on him.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh my God, how could he? This is the most insane thing that anyone could ever do. The disrespect. He just thinks he can do whatever he wants just because he's royalty. This is so unfair.
But you find out that he had a relationship with that person.
And that's when the women are like, goo goo gaga.
I was goo goo gaga too.
And the guy's like, okay, chill. We're like, okay.
Yeah, why don't you go join his pleasure palace?
Yeah. I think he disbanded that too.
Right.
Yeah.
We also see something very interesting here after all of this. Great introduction to Oden, even bringing in Kinemon and Denjiro. Great way to just start this flashback. And at the end of it, we see that Yasu the Hedgehog is being served by a young Orochi.
Bitch.
Curiouser and curiouser.
I was like, okay, this is how, this is the rise in ranks.
Right. I knew, yeah. At the moment I saw this fool, like,
he did
I knew
something.
Well, I mean, obviously he's a shogun. Now he definitely did something.
But he did it not in like the respectable way, the way he is.
Of course.
Seeing him, he's like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, you're just playing this game.
But I knew it was gonna be some bitch shit.
Yeah.
Some bitch shit. Yeah. So Oden then starts to pick up more followers, and
begrudgingly.
Yeah.
The like ongoing joke throughout this is just like he does not like that. He does not like that. And it's the face of like
he picks up two brothers.
Oh my God. Okay.
Kikunojo and Izo.
Okay. So I'm going to retract what I said before, okay? And I had no idea they had any connection whatsoever. I knew that Izo now obviously was a part of Whitebeard's crew.
Right.
I didn't know how they had a connection at all. They definitely were dressed in like that type of garb, so I knew maybe they were from Wano, but even like Jinbei's kind of wearing the same shit and he's not from Wano.
Right.
So I was kind of confused. But in that flashback that we do get before we're like getting the news that they did travel 20 years into the future, right? Yeah, 20 years into the future. Yeah, he came for the best of the future. That was Izo.
Right.
That was Izo in the back. I thought it was Okiku because of what we learn, but it is Izo, and they're brothers.
Yeah, that was really a really cool way to tie all that together, man.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I was like, oh.
He also, picks up.
Yeah, I just want to mention too, like
Go off.
Izo is wearing like that makeup and stuff, which I think is like whatever. But they are like dressed up as like girls playing that stuff.
Yes.
Izo does not identify as a girl, but Okiku does.
Right.
And I just want to
make it clear.
Make that clear.
Make that distinction.
Make that distinction. Yes.
He also picks up some other people like Raizo, Kanjuro,
Ashida.
Kanjuro.
It's a spoiler. We haven't gotten there yet. Oh.
And challenges Doji, becoming their king in Daimyo.
I love this little journey.
Yeah.
Of like all of these like names put on these people, all these legends put on these people when it turns out they're not like that at all.
Right.
They're really not doing all this shit that everyone says. And it is like this whole thing of like how your reputation kind of precedes you. But with Oden, it kind of
right.
It fits. It's exactly what you get.
Right. This is when I know Megan's heart went doki
God.
and we meet a young Dogstorm, a young Cat Viper, and Kawamatsu.
I did not know they were all together. I did not know.
I mean, they kind of weren't until they were, but like Dogstorm and Cat Viper obviously were on Zoe, then they kind of washed up. And it's actually really interesting, and this kind of feeds more into the lore, because we do know that Minks have an unbreakable pact with the Kozuki, right? From hundreds of years ago, meaning that I don't think, I was going to say that I believe, but I think it's pretty obvious that whatever happened was so bad, like, because Wano's borders were open, and whatever happened was so bad that they needed to close their borders for that time. But it wasn't meant to be this thing that was permanent. And, the Mink people and the Kozuki clan formed that pact back those 800 years ago, I think, when all of that was going down.
I mean, I think it has something to do with like the Joy Boy incident.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean. Because the only reason I think it's kind of interesting too is because even though they have this bond, and even though we saw in Zoe when we first met Cat Viper and Dogstorm, their connection to the Kozuki clan and everything, it goes back. It's not just a 20-year or 100-year thing. They say hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
So this has been something from long ago. However, Oden at this point has never met a mink before.
Well, yeah, because
of Wano's borders being closed, has heard stories of them, but is also like never seen one.
Yeah. And I like his I'm I love his curiosity and like his willingness to accept people and just to learn. Because, it's like a person who comes from such a closed off place can just stay closed and just have their, mindset, their morals, everything will stay the same because everyone else that they live with are going through the same thing. And, you're feeding into everything and they're giving you how you should think. But he's just like so willing to like, because obviously he wants to go on the sea and like adventure the world. And I do like love that about him, how willing he is to like, just accept anyone for who they are.
And we learned that Dogstorm and Cat Viper wanted to go because they had heard about the samurai of Wano, but that Kawamatsu was actually, who we've been told was a kappa before, is actually a fishman.
That was the saddest shit I've ever heard in my life. He's just like, Yeah, when my mom died and
Yeah.
she got killed by the people, she told me to not tell people I'm a mink and that I'm a kappa.
No, a fish man.
Oh, a fish man, and I'm a kappa instead. I was like, I'm literally gonna fucking just the way he said it, so matter of fact, like
As
not
a child, yeah.
I know this poor soul baby. I love all of them. They're so adorable, so rambunctious. I'm literally tearing up because they're so cute. I was obsessed.
I mean, yeah, see if you can show
Oh
off that
yeah,
little drawing.
I drew them. They're so cute, and they're thanking everyone. And he's like, "Thank you for saving us." And then when he's thanking Oden, and then he like drops the food on the floor, and he's like, "You're funny." And then Kawamatsu's like eating it off the floor, and he's like, "Oh, this is disrespectful. I should probably eat off the floor too." And they start eating, and he's like, "It's still hot."
Yeah.
And love it.
Yeah, Cat Viper in that moment too was so funny. Yeah, they got saved, and Odin delivered that line which we heard that he had delivered before about your fear of what you don't know is also like your ignorance or something to that effect. You know me in quotes.
Yeah, and another one he says like he says don't leave. That happens to be my like least favorite rule, and I just feel like all of the rules you hate, and it's just like that's the least one.
Yeah.
It's great.
This is when Whitebeard shows up. Well, before that, actually, I should say that because I just thought this was so cool. Again, I know it might seem like a small moment, but it was so fucking cool. Kinemon and gang, they get caught stealing from Yasu. Yasu's like, it's all good. And as a matter of fact, here's some more money. Clean yourselves up. That's when he delivers that line. Like, you're going to be if Oden is to be respected and you to be his vassals, then you need to kind of start carrying yourself like, more
like some
appropriately.
G's.
Yeah. So he kind of gives them a little extra money, and they come into town, dude. Their procession comes into the capital, bro, and they look sharp, boy. They look sharp.
They look sharp. They're carrying him throughout the streets, and I was like,
yeah,
let's go.
Let's go. I imagine that to be slow-mo, when they come in. There's like,
mm-hmm.
They kind of
Oh
come
yeah.
in.
Or it's like the monsters. It's like the Monsters Inc. When they're coming down the scare floor.
Right.
For the first time, they're like, it's the scarers, and then they're like, dun, dun,
yes.
dun, dun. No, they trip and fall in the bloopers. Okay, you're getting it twisted.
Right,
In the real movie, they go to their places, and the bloopers,
Right. I wish Pixar still did that. That shit was
and that was
fun.
See, that's what I'm saying. It ain't shit no more. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely not what it was.
And Lassiter, creep.
Really?
Yeah, I found out, and it made me very sad. Anyway,
I mean, the man wears Hawaiian shirts, bro.
On the daily,
every day.
Yeah, on the daily.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was awesome, and again, he is very He reminds me a lot of. He has Luffy tendencies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He sees Whitebeard. Their whole whale ship is washed ashore, and he just sees them immediately. And Whitebeard, immediately was like, "Okay, something's coming, and it's very, very powerful.
Yeah,
like brace yourselves." And he goes immediately to Whitebeard, and it's just like, "I don't know who you are, but let me get on that ship.
Yeah.
Let me get on your ship.
Yeah.
Like you are here now. Let me go." And everyone's like, "No, you're not. No, it's just not going to happen." And that moment of Kinemon talking to Whitebeard being like, "Yeah, we can't let him go." And Whitebeard's like, "Nah, I got you, fam." Like daps him up. Like
gives him a dap, yeah.
Gives him a literal dap.
A literal dap.
Above the dap
yeah.
is the word dap.
It was an official canon dap.
That's all I needed.
It was a canon dap between legends, dude. Kinemon is a legend. Okay? But yeah, Oden then, as Whitebeard departs, eventually Oden jumps aboard.
Oh my
Izo follows, and Oden has to hold onto this chain for 3 days.
And then maybe I'll give you a chance.
Right.
And also the babies. The babies come on.
Right.
Come
well,
on the
they kind of reveal that they've been stowing away. And Oden almost does it, but he lets go because he sees Toki. This is where we first meet Toki. Whitebeard, and she, is there being pursued by these like creepy guys wanting to go to Wano. That's where she really wants to go. And we realize like in this moment where she feels trapped before Oden shows up, she's like, I could just jump to the future again, but imagine if she would have, like how crazy different everything would have been.
Yeah.
In that moment.
It was fate.
It was fate. It was destiny.
And yeah, Oden comes on board all swollen as fuck from the seawater for 3 days.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Ooh." And obviously he saves her.
Right.
And
Whitebeard welcomes him to the crew. And Roger takes notice. And this is so exciting because we've seen bits and pieces of Roger, but now we finally get to spend time with him. We finally get to hang out with two legends. We got a lot of Whitebeard and Marineford, and we've been getting more since. But we haven't really had this much time with Roger, and we're getting that with two legends, Oden and Roger. Wow. Oden and Toki have a baby. We see them pick up an orphan Blackbeard. We see Orochi, Kurozumi become the proxy shogun. And we also learn more about his deal. We learn about his past and his grandfather and the old hag. And basically that his grandfather, the shogun at the time, had no sire. So Orochi's they were going to kind of promote one of the daimos. And Orochi's grandfather, being one of those daimos, poisoned all the other daimos. And his plan was almost going to work until the shogun had an heir.
Yeah.
Which was Oden's dad. But we also see this hag,
Damn
right?
it.
And this hag...
We also see this hag, right?
They call her a hag. She a hag. She's wrecked, dude. She's haggard. Hag is short for haggard. This bitch haggard. Okay? But what makes her kind of cool, is she has the clone fruit, right? And you know me and my obsession with the Bon Clay, the one and only Bon Clay. I was trying to look into it without it getting super spoiled or anything. But this is, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe she has, at this moment in time, the devil fruit that Bon Clay will eventually have. As well as the other old man has, I believe, the same devil fruit that Bartolomeo has, or will eventually have. So
fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy to see what that power in different hands
exactly
looks like. What it looks like when someone like a Bon Clay has it, how dangerous it is when it is in the hands of this old haggard hag, versus when it's, and same thing with Bartolomeo, and just how it can end up this exchange of power, how it can just be taken and given. It is not yours. It is something bigger than you. And it is a gift that you are given, but that you don't ever truly own. It's all, I don't know. It's just really a really cool moment. And correct me if I'm wrong about the clone fruit. I'm pretty sure it's the same one, because you never know in One Piece. It could be because we kind of saw in Whole Cake, that there was another ability with the mirror sort of fruit that she could create these clones. I know it was reflections and yada, yada, yada,
Yeah.
but it could just look like the same thing and maybe not be, but I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. And that's another thing too. If Wano's borders are closed, how did Bartolomeo get this fruit? How did Bon Clay get this fruit? We saw.
I mean, it might just be, someone got out and then it's they died. They don't have to live a full life.
Right. Right. Because another thing I was thinking, and it just kind of popped into my head right now, but we saw in Punk Hazard that when the devil fruit that Caesar gave the axolotl model fruit to, when it died, its devil fruit sort of was passed on to another fruit close by. So I think people were talking a lot at the time about that, meaning that it kind of moves to the fruit closest by. But if at this point, this was before, I think maybe, basically Kaido shows up, Orochi takes over and kind of ravages Wano. We saw a flourishing Wano, but now we see a ravaged Wano, right? And there is this garden, but a lot of what everybody else is eating is scraps. These lush landscapes have been reduced to dust, meaning there maybe aren't. So that devil fruit could have respawned on Wano and someone else could have taken it. But also they could have accidentally been kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And because they had destroyed so much of that plant life, that the next closest fruit, I don't know, place for it to spawn would have been a different island. You know what I mean? I don't know. But how did it get off of Wano, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. But then we find out that it was the old hag. And she has a name, but she's evil. So we're going to keep calling her old hag. Impersonated Oden and the Sakuyaki. She impersonated Oden. Why did I write it down that way? But she impersonated Oden's dad, basically.
Yes.
And we see them kind of laughing about it, chuckling about it. We got him. Which makes me think, like, when did Oden's father really die? Like,
yeah, that's what he says too. Like, was my father like when did he die? Like, was he ever sick? Like, all these things. Later on, he was questioning.
Cutting back to Whitebeard and Roger, we see Whitebeard versus Roger. I think this was awesome. Mm-hmm. I think seeing them clash, bro. It's not about because I think you had mentioned seeing somewhere that people felt as if this was like anticlimactic or something.
Yeah, again, it's like blue balls. Like, we hear all this shit about Whitebeard and Roger, and like we don't even get to see them fight. Like, really?
Bro, it was not about that, dude.
Yeah.
It was not about that. Their clash was sick enough. This man, Oda has to draw, presumably, with what's going to happen between Luffy and Kaido. You want him to draw this entire battle between...
But it wasn't even about that. Like you said, it really...
Yeah.
It was more like a playful clash, like, because they are like friendly, like they are friends. Not maybe best friends, but they're definitely, there's camaraderie there.
Right. I thought this was awesome, and I thought everything that happened afterward, the conversation that happened afterward, was better than the clash. And the clash was sick. The band and Whitebeard and Roger. The clash.
Oh, right? Yeah, got it. Can you name a song or
no?
Oh,
no. It was just for the pun.
For the joke.
For the joke, I guess. Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna joke about things, you might want to have like more context about it.
Right. Same thing as like when people wear like Pantera shirts. Never heard a song in their life.
Yeah. Can you name a Pantera song?
No.
See, then you can't keep getting away with this.
That's why I don't wear Pantera shirts, or I don't have the
name
Clash
a Done
shirts.
Piece episode.
Oh, dude. The Dark Side of Smile. Our last episode. Banger. That was our last episode. Banger, dude. Of course. Oh, you mean?
Of course, I know that one.
Oh, you mean Done Piece, the Volume 1, One Piece series read through? Yeah, I'm aware. I'm familiar.
Okay.
That's why I got this shirt.
Yeah, you got this shirt to rep it.
That's why I got this shirt that you can find in the link in the description.
Ooh.
Then we also get to see a young Shanks and a young Buggy and a young Blackbeard. Cute. They're so cute, dude.
Not a young Blackbeard.
Yeah.
You think he's cute?
No, not cute, but we get to see him. I mean,
yeah.
Shanks and even Buggy, dude, they're so cool. Their relationship is so funny to me. I love them, and I want to see them reunite.
I just think it's so funny. Like, Roger's is like, they have these just like little kids on their ship.
Yeah.
Like little ass kids.
Apprentices, dude. You got to start somewhere. Little Padawans. Roger, Dan, this is where we get so much information. Roger says he made it to Lodestar, right? But there was one more island after that. They thought this was the final destination, but there was one more island after that, right? And he tells Whitebeard about the road poneglyphs, and that's when he also tells Roger tells Whitebeard that he will be the ... Just like Luffy, what are they saying?
Just like Luffy said to Sabo and Ace also laughed it off. Keywords, laughed it off. I'm not going to go too much into the knowledge that I have, but this is brought up again in a very similar fashion, and I am so curious as to what it is. It could be simple. It could be as simple as like, I don't know, because if it was simple, they would have just laughed, right? But for one person to laugh and one person to be like,
exactly.
That's why that's why it's kind of like, huh?
If they both laughed, it would have been like, oh, okay, it could be kind of.
It symbolizes the symbols on Ace's hat. We have one person smiling and one person frowning.
But he was more stunned than frowning, unless when you're stunned, you kind of just,
Yeah, that was a good Keemon face. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good Keemon face. Yeah, dude, you're absolutely right, Megan. That's why it boggles my mind. That's why it boggles me so. Because one person was stunned. One person was stunned, and the other person was hysterical.
I mean, literally, like Whitebeard and Roger, just like a go with the flow kind of dude. He's very. That's why, like, his reaction to the laugh tail. I feel like even if Luffy found out, he might laugh too. But maybe the other Straw Hats would be like, this is serious shit. You know? It's like just the person he is. Like, I don't know.
I feel like maybe they would all laugh. I could see them all laughing.
Robin's like, crying and laughing. She's like, I fucking did it.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
My whole life led up to this moment.
Yeah.
And everything bad that happened to me thus far is...
Maybe it's all a simulation, and that's what they're finding out.
Simulation, yeah. It's all a game.
It's all a game.
The last chapter of One Piece will just be Oda at his desk.
Right.
And they're like, we're manga characters?
Yeah.
Huh? Gagunk?
I mean, that would be wild. That would be wild.
He's like, I want to be a mangaka.
Oh.
I want to be Oda. I'm like, what does that even mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Oda is not the type of person to do that.
I know.
That would be so
That's why,
self-righteous, for him to be like,
I mean, it's
Laugh
Tales.
Oda.
So the most self-insert you could possibly do ever. Yeah, this was such a crazy moment, and we're going to find out. But we also get a little tidbit about Blackbeard and a little back and forth between Shanks and Buggy. Like, you hear, see that guy? You see that kid over there? We heard that, he didn't slip a wink through this whole thing, and he's never slept a day in his life. I was like...
Yeah. And I think that, is that literal, or does that just speak kind of more to like these like legends or these stories that are starting to be told about him?
I mean,
these larger than life kind of things.
I don't know. With Blackbeard, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
But Oden wants to go with Roger because he wants to find the answers to his questions. Yes, Mehgan.
That would kind of lead into the theory that Blackbeard's two people, because you would never see him sleep if he's up all day, and the other one sleeps.
Oh, okay.
And then one's up.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Or he just like replaces his brain, like there's a snap, and then he goes into the other version of himself. Kind of like a Moon Knight type of thing. Where it's the same person, same body.
Split personalities.
Yeah, so he never sleeps. The other one can rest while the other one's up.
Split personalities, yeah. But that share a body, the body would need rest.
But that's just a game theory.
But like I said, Oden wants to go with Roger to find the answers to his questions, right? Oden wins Roger's crew over because he was born to boil.
I love that. We'll never accept you, Oden.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, 2 hours later when they're all fucked up. Oden, send it.
Yeah.
He's on like a keg stand. They're like, woo!
That's when they travel the sea, arriving in various places like Skypiea, and that's where we see Oden carve that message into the poneglyph for Roger. They reveal that they stole, a tracing or whatever of the poneglyph from Lin, Big Mom. They visit Tom and Frankie and Iceberg.
Yeah!
That's so crazy.
Seeing Tom again made me really sad.
We never got Tom. Like, we assume maybe that he was, in Impel Down, right? But was he killed? Is he still there?
He might be dead.
He might be just dead.
Yeah, but little Frankie, I was left behind pirates too.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
the fact that Frank, and of course, like you said, right? It's like you said it in the beginning of the episode. It's like when an adult tells you that you just never remember meeting in your life. They're like, I used to change your diapers. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. It's just so funny.
I don't remember you.
Yeah. And it's just so funny, like the older you get, when you have a position to see, like, when you're a kid, you're kind of growing at your own rate, and people are like, oh my God, you've changed so much. Like, in their perspective, like, they kind of, once you get to a certain age, you can change and stuff, but you kind of stay the same.
Right.
Like, your shoe size, like, stays the same.
It kind of caps.
Once you kind of caps. So seeing, like, someone, like, literally grow right before your eyes is such a crazy feeling. Being like, I saw you 2 years ago, and you're like, different, like just from you, like, because you don't really change that much. People around you don't really change because they're already older,
right?
So it is just like
it's
such a weird feeling.
It is wild when you put it like that.
Yeah.
But we also see Neptune and a young Charlie.
Oh, she's so adorable as a kid.
She's cute.
Oh my God, she was so fucking cute.
And she prophesies Shirahoshi's birth.
Yeah.
Ray Lee also, just this is a little thing I put in parentheses here. Ray Lee says at a certain point too. He kind of corrects, I think, Neptune and says, we're not looking for the weapons, but we're looking for the people who called them weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So even they, by that, just by that wording, makes it seem like they're not even like resigned to believe that these are like weapons, that just maybe they're a power that someone called a weapon,
Well,
something
that's
that
what
they
it
didn't
is.
understand, or something maybe
That's
something bigger than them.
That's what we were kind of like talking about with Paravision. It's just like who capped the phrase devil fruits.
Right.
I mean, who said that these were like had to have the like connotation of like devil, like something bad, inherently bad. Like all the other places call it like, sorcery or different things. Like, it's just interesting to
Right.
see. Like maybe the government was like, we need to call these bad things because they're bad.
Right. This is when Toki, and there's a lot of stuff that happened in Fishman Island too that was just really funny. The exchanges that happened between them. But we do cut back and find Toki has fallen ill and has to return to Wano. Oden goes with them, of course, just gets the poneglyph and kind of dips.
Everyone's like, what the fuck? Everyone's like, okay. And he was there for probably like an hour before he had to dip.
But, Toki was kind of like, let him go. Kinemon you can already see the smokestacks in the background, the weapons factories being manufactured, being built. And you could see Kinemon's face, him wanting to share all of these things with Oden, and Toki kind of putting a stop to it. Like, please, Kinemon, don't.
Well, I think in this time, too, didn't he have like a back and forth with his dad?
No.
Oden?
Oden? No.
Oh.
No.
Who am I thinking of? Are you sure? Because he sat down and said, like, the last time I talked to him. Was that before he left?
I think I could be, wrong. Been wrong before. But I think it was like maybe before he left. But I think it was, before he left, when he was made the daimyo of Curie, I believe, and then had to go to the capital for that ceremony.
Yeah.
I think
I'm getting it mixed up, but yeah.
And we see this is very important for Oden again, because this is his kind of last chance to find these answers, the answers that he needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if he were to have stayed, he would have never gone out to sea again. And that
he knows that.
Yeah, and so does Toki. Then they go to Zoe, and Oden and Roger feel something huge, they say, is watching them. And it's kind of showing that tree, but of course it could be talking about the elephant, right? Zunisha.
That would make sense, yeah.
That would make sense.
Like, I've got a weird feeling. We see young Pedro.
Yes, dude.
Aww.
Yes, little Pedro's so fucking cute, man. Pedro's also the fucking goat, dude. Damn. The way you feel about like young Cat Viper and Dogstorm is the way I feel about young Pedro, dude. I love young Pedro.
So can I go with you?
And we also got to see that in Fishman Island too. We got to see Oden and Roger when they were, arriving. They could hear the Neptunians, the Sea Kings, and it's just interesting that the people of Wano, or maybe the Oden's bloodline, can hear them, as well as certain people that might be outside of that, or maybe their bloodlines go farther.
Well, it's like Luffy and Momonosuke.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Luffy was able to hear him but couldn't talk to him. Momonosuke could.
Right.
And like it's like one and the same.
Yeah. Buggy gets sick and Shanks stays behind with him. That's why they don't get to go to the last island. This is the only thing I think that like makes complete sense. Because it would change everything if Shanks knew what was on the final island.
Well, we don't know. I mean, he did. I know that like Roger was on like, I only have like 1 year left, pretty much, and he was like kind of telling everyone, or like they were kind of learning about it on the ship. And he even says like, Shanks asked Roger something, and then that led to him like crying,
weeping.
So I don't know if that was like, hey, I'm going to die, or hey, what if he asked, like, what did you find? Like, what are the answers? And he told him.
Well, it feels like Shanks doesn't even want to know, because the reason he doesn't go in the first place is because he says, like, if we ever decide to, if we ever get there, it'll be on our own ship.
Yeah.
But, this makes so much sense, and this has to happen. But after just Toki getting sick, and then having to go back to Wano because of that, right after Buggy getting sick and Shank, like that has to happen. But that was the only thing out of this entire flashback for me personally that felt reverse engineered, right? Like something has to happen for Shanks not to go. So let's just, make Buggy sick
Yeah.
because Buggy has to not be able to go either.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like it because, it kind of shows a little bit more about Buggy and Shanks' relationship.
And he's like, I can't tell if they're like sworn enemies or best friends.
Yeah. Because they do care about each other. They are brothers. They are like brothers that are constantly bickering, but you can sense underneath it, they kind of love each other. That's why I want this reunion. They do it. Roger does it. And they finally, on that day, learn the truth of the world, the 100-year void, what the people of the D are, what the ancient weapons are, and that Wano's borders used to be open. That was crazy. And like we said in the beginning of the episode, and in the face of this vast treasure, Roger just laughs, saying, "Oh, Joy Boy, I wish I'd been born in your time, a tale full of laughs." That's the other line. That's just so...
Laughs.
A tale...
And it's so crazy because, like, everything that's happened to cover this up and to cover all of these mysteries up has been so sad.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying.
It's, like, so horrible. Every horrible thing that's, like, wrong with the world, and for, like, the thing that... because the result of it just being like, oh, this is funny.
Yeah.
It's like...
Right.
Huh?
That's why I'm so intrigued. That's when they decided to call this island Laugh Tale, being the first people to be there in I think over like 800 years. But when they return, Shanks asks Roger something and weeps. News of Roger's accomplishments spread far and wide with the birth of the Age of the Pirates. This is why we know again that he did not say he wanted to be king of the pirates, because this is where we learned that that was a title given to him by the government that he just saw in that moment and was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that, or whatever. That's kind of funny. Oden and Roger, this is crazy too, dude. Oden and Roger, they're back, right? They're back, and they start to hear voices. And the voices are saying, they're the Neptunians, the Sea King, saying, "We've been waiting so long, and surely it will go well this time. Just 10 until the birth and another 15 to grow." This is wild, dude. Because, the line, like we said in the beginning, surely this time it will go well, implying that the first time it didn't go well. Emu, whatever, like, is being born again, might have been, like what Emu was the version of whoever this new person is, but like the version of them like 800 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, and he was the person, or they were the person that kind of like caused this current state of the world. So in X amount of time, 800 years or however amount of time, like a new chosen one, I guess, kind of, right, is going to be born, a new Joy Boy. Maybe this is when, like, every so often, like the embodiment of good, Joy Boy, and the embodiment of evil, like Emu, like every 1,000 years, 800 years, whatever, like the embodiments of both of these things clash, and it's like it's the world's way of constantly, because there was something like that in the Legend of Korra, I believe. There
was something like that too in Always Sunny.
Oh, in Philadelphia. There was something like that in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Dayman.
And the Nightman. Right.
But
I think because, like, when we learn about in Korra, spoilers for Korra.
Spoilers.
We learn about the first Avatar, right? Avatar 1, right? The very first one, how the Avatar even came into existence. And we learn that there were these two spirits that were constantly at odds.
Yeah.
And it was the universe's way of, like,
evening it out,
sort of, like balancing. And there was this thing that happened over every certain amount of years where they would meet and they would clash. And I want to go back and watch the Avatar 1 episode, whatever. I don't know if you've seen Korra, but if you have, like, tell me how crazy I am, because you're
crazy.
You're crazy. It could be that, or similar to that. I don't know. I don't mean to compare One Piece to the Legend of Korra, but I don't know. That's kind of where my mind goes. But 10 until the birth and 15 to grow. Roger says something to Rayleigh, and Roger says something to Rayleigh and then departed. And it's funny the way Oden writes about it in his journal, like, not a tear was shed.
Yeah, we were utterly stoic. Not a tear was shed. We're very good pirates, and they're all just like bawling their eyes out.
Yeah, it was funny. That was so funny, dude. Oden returns to Wano, discovers all that Toki has done in his absence.
Bro, she held it down.
She's the best. Everybody needs a Toki. Everybody. Toki. Yeah. Everybody needs a Toki.
Yeah, she held it down for her man.
She...
Indubitably.
Yeah, dude. She's ride or die. She holds it down. She's like... She's goals, you know what I mean? Like, she's what every person should strive, to be as a partner and to find in a partner, okay?
Yeah.
Someone who's going to hold it down.
Yeah. She's top MILF of One Piece.
Right. Kinemon fills him in on Orochi and Kaido and that they tried to put a stop to it, but Kaido's follower snuck into Kuri and Toki was shot.
Ooh, yeah, that was rough.
Right.
That was rough because they're all just kind of like, okay, so we're going to give you a little catch up on what's been going down. It's been really bad and your wife got like shot and he just goes, what? He's like, let me see it. And she's like, it's really not that big of a deal. She's like trying to downplay it. Like, no, really, like she just knows he's going to go wild. And it's just like this huge scar. And it was just like,
but
seeing
again,
red, like he literally wasn't there, and like just that guilt of like, the mother of my children was shot and I was not here.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy.
It's so important, I think, what she tells him too. Like, don't act so rashly, don't act out of emotion because, there's a better way to go about it. You're kind of setting yourself up for failure. You're kind of falling right into they're playing into their hands, I guess. Like, don't act on emotion. And it kind of like seems like he's ignoring that and going to do what his gut is telling him to do. But then later we can see that he really follows that by making the choice that he makes, which is, again, maybe there are people out there who think that part was goofy and Oden's choice didn't quite make sense. But it does to me upon like this initial read, having had the privilege, I guess, of reading everything this back to back, not having to wait as long as a lot of other people have, which I empathize with and I understand. But like it's just so on brand for, like, even Kaido says, like, what Kaido calls soft, like,
yeah,
what Roger would have done in that situation, what Whitebeard, what Luffy might have even done in that situation. Who knows? Maybe not Luffy. Maybe not Luffy, honestly, actually. But yeah, I think that was him. His decision was informed by like Toki's kind of last words to him before he departed.
Yeah.
But that's when Oden storms the castle. And, the people were ecstatic, for Oden's return. But, he goes into the castle, storms, confronts Orochi, but the barrier fruit guy is there, kind of puts a stop to it. Everybody else is like, oh my God, Oden's finally back.
No, he has the barrier fruit.
No, the old man has it.
I thought he had it.
Orochi?
Yeah, because I think that the hag was like, oh, I present to you, like she had a devil fruit.
Well, yeah, Orochi has a devil fruit.
Yeah. Doesn't he have the barrier?
Has the snake fruit. The snake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was confused.
The old man has the barrier.
He does.
Fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Because that would make no sense because Orochi's still alive and Bartolomeo has the barrier fruit. Yeah.
Exactly.
But he's surrounded by these powerful people, So, yeah. The people were excited because he was just filling in, apparently, for Oden until Oden returned, right? He had been made the sort of like the stand-in shogun, but it was all a ruse. And the next time the people see him, it was just so, Oda does this. And I don't think anybody does this like him. You feel the excitement of the people, the hope. You feel the hope, the literal, on the black and white pages, you feel hope. And you feel it get taken right away from them, sucked out of them. Because they see him, naked in the streets dancing like a fool. And when I first read this, I thought of all the things this could be. I thought maybe there was, because we had seen the barrier fruit and because we had seen the clone fruit, knowing that eventually, I believe the clone fruit will go to Bon Clay and the barrier fruit will definitely go to Bartolomeo, unless there's duplicates, which I don't think there is. Then I thought maybe someone else had Otama's devil fruit ability before Otama, because when we meet Otama, she's young. She's young and her fruit is the... So I thought maybe someone else had her devil fruit and gave Oden a little dumpling. You know?
I thought it was like a version of like a smile fruit.
That could have been a possibility too.
Yeah.
I could have even, I thought, maybe been the old hag
Yeah.
impersonating him, but it wasn't. He appeared in the Capitol to do this once a week, and he told no one why. He even received the news of Roger's death, cried, but kind of also looked like he had a smile, right? Which made me kind of think that it was a smile fruit related thing. But then we find out that in this time, years after he sort of returned in his second year, that's when Moria comes to Wano, kind of like further like validating that, that's where that's for sure where he got Ryuma's corpse.
For sure.
And the blades and everything. Moria came to Wano, and then the next year, and the Foolish Lord was a laughingstock. Oden was starting to be called the Foolish Lord, and everybody started to lose faith in him. Everybody started to lose faith in anybody that was associated with him. But there were a few people, his vassals, and Yasu and Hyo, like they all like stood by him.
Yeah, that was great. They kind of just like accepted it. They're like, we know there's a reason why you're doing this.
Yes,
we understand that something is not right, and he's just like, no, this is my job now. They're like, okay, and they kind of just accept it, and then just kind of accept him for doing this, and kind of just like forget there was ever like a meaning to why he would be doing this, because it just went on for so long.
They just believed in him.
I
think. But after 5 years, this shit went on for 5 years. Okay, he was showing up every week for 5 years, and after 5 years, and we don't know why, Orochi makes his move. And he imprisons Hyoguro, old man Hyo, and kills his wife, which is crazy.
That was, oh God, so awful.
Oden decided then in that moment that now was the time to take out Kaido, and the Akazaya 9 were born in that moment, right? And what follows next is the Hour of Legends. So when they show up, Kaido was already waiting there, and he suggests that it was because he knew they were going to come, but he's kind of toying with them, right? Like, maybe I got a spy, maybe I don't, like, which is kind of the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
There's so many times where you see villains go like, I have a secret informant that you know nothing about. But Kaido was like, maybe I do have one of those. Maybe I don't.
Who knows?
Maybe I don't.
You don't know.
You don't fucking know. Which I thought was kind of cool. That's when he comments that Roger and Whitebeard were soft and would have done similar things, made a similar choice that Oden made. But he also talks about being scared, that he was terrified not terrified, but he was a little nervous when Oden first returned.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives Oden, this has got to be the most embarrassing thing of all, it kind of gives Oden this, like, what if he would have done this thing, then maybe he would have been able to defeat him. Like, we thought we were going to, if you teamed up with the Yakuza.
Yeah, we would have been done.
We would have been done.
It would have been a done deal. He's just like.
So they had to get this contingency in order. But yeah, because what? I didn't want to cut you.
Nothing. I didn't. I'm getting them mixed.
Oh, sorry. The battle then begins, and that's when Shinobu joins the fight. And we find out too that she was just kind of there because her allegiance was sworn to the previous Daimyo or Shogun, Oden's father, and she's kind of been just there with Orochi, waiting for his return.
Yeah,
Oden's return, and it was 11 samurai versus 1,000 pirates, and the fight goes on for a while until Oden lands a blow, a pretty devastating
decent.
Blow, and is about to strike Kaido down, but is tricked by, and this is why we call her an old hag, tricked by the old hag. Tricked, snake, tomfoolery, trickery, foul play. Did I already say that?
No, you didn't say foul play.
Bullshit. How about that? Just the worst way to win, The samurai are then captured, and they're sentenced to be boiled. Oh
yeah, I forgot to mention that the hag transformed into Momonosuke.
Yeah.
And then Momonosuke, he's like, how'd you get on the battlefield? But I mean, that she should have thought about that. But no, he obviously was like, damn, my son's here.
It makes perfect sense to me, right? Of course, like, Momonosuke maybe ran after him, whatever. Oden, just being who he is in that moment, saw his son and didn't even think to question, like, how did he get here or why? He's just a pure soul, and wants to protect and cares about his family. And he's going to like act first and ask questions later, save his son, figure it out. But was tricked, was duped. So fuck that hag. But yeah. Sentenced to boil to death, Oden makes a deal with Kaido that if they survive the oil for 1 hour,
the hot burning oil
for 1 hour, then he'll set them free. Kaido agrees to this, right? Because he's like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, no one's gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Go ahead.
And what proceeds is, to me, heartbreaking. To me, something I never expected to see, something I never imagined would be the. I mean, we knew
result.
Yeah, we knew that Oden was executed. I just thought, I don't know. I should know better by now. Did not think he was going to go out like this. But he also went out in the most G of G ways possible. In the most D of D ways possible.
Oh, yeah.
He jumps in, takes like the lid, tells everybody to jump on top of it, and he just endures with his flesh being burnt. I don't know how it wasn't burned away.
Yeah,
and there was just bone.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
But he does this for almost an hour. And meanwhile, people are making fun of him in the crowd, talking shit about him. And Shinobu can't take it anymore and tells everyone the truth about Orochi,
about what he was doing,
what he's about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 100 people that he saved with each dance.
Yep.
Every dance he saved.
For 5 years.
For
7 days a week.
Years. And that Kaido said that if he did that, and Orochi said if he did that, Kaido more specifically, that in 5 years they would leave because they were just using Wano as a place to kind of regroup and build their ships back up. It'd take them about 5 years, and in 5 years they would leave. But
that didn't happen. Yeah, no.
Of course. Shouldn't believe Kaido. You shouldn't believe Orochi. But what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
He didn't really feel like he had any other option.
He really didn't. Unless, he caught him when he was sleeping or something.
Yeah.
So he could actually kill him. But
this is when the people realized that Oden had been protecting them, and they kind of spread the news far and wide. Oden tells them that this was crazy too. He's like, don't get me wrong. Like, they're going to kill me here today. Despite what they say, like, they're going to kill me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if I have a deal after an hour. Like, it doesn't matter. And, it's like either the deal is fine, they do let it go. Like, I'm going to die from the repercussions of standing in oil for an hour.
Yeah. And he also tells them that the world is awaiting a figure after 800 years and that they must be ready to welcome and work with them. He survives the hour, but, Kaido changes his mind, of course, shoots him. Yeah, shoots him down.
Before he's able to deliver his speech.
Well, he kind of does.
No, his last words, I mean.
Well, he kind of does. He says, open Wano's borders, right?
No, he says his line to boil.
Oh, right. But he gets that out. He
doesn't say boil. It's the rest of the people that say boil.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he already got shot.
Yeah, but
in the head.
He's Oden, though,
That's true.
That's Oden.
But I don't know if you caught this. When he is sinking, there's kind of a smile in the oil.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Because Oden knew everything.
Yeah.
Oden knew everything. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting close to the end here. So, he gets shot down. Oden frees the samurai, and they run with tears in their eyes. We kind of have been told the events that follow, but we get to see them play out here and get to see that Cat Viper and Dogstorm are starting to argue over Oden's death because Dogstorm, I believe, feels like Cat Viper incited this because he was kind of calling out Kaido. Like, you made a promise, like, blah, 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 blah. And, it resulted. Kaido was going to shoot.
In the tension between them.
Kaido was going to shoot Oden anyway. But, Dogstorm kind of blames Cat Viper for that. So we finally get to learn the reason they have this beef with each other. And they end up getting captured by the numbers. Kaido has Momonosuke, but lets him burn with the castle. And Toki sends the samurai to the future, then goes to deliver her prophecy. This was the only thing that I thought, the only thing, like, I understand, like, I think that everything that happened with Oden and Oden's backstory was beautifully written and told. It was very sad.
Yeah.
But I think surpassed any expectations and lived up. This man, this legend lived up to his reputation in my mind. The only thing that was just kind of like off to me or weird to me, or if I have any sort of small nitpick with, would just be that, bro, Kaido had Momonosuke like in his hands. Sure, he was a kid, and maybe Kaido
underestimated him or like didn't really care enough.
Yeah, but he had him like by the neck out of the castle. Like, could have just, that could have been it. But he's like, he literally, there was really no good reason. I mean, he kind of asks him, are you sure you're Kozuki Oden's son?
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of looks at him. He's like, whatever. And he throws him in the castle, which that was the only thing I was like.
He did say though, right?
Momonosuke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did reveal that. And then he's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, whatever.
Throw him in the fire.
And then we saw kind of all this other stuff play out. Samurai gets sent to the future. Toki going to deliver her prophecy. And it's so funny, dude, because it seems like a win. It seems like a victory. And we get to see Orochi kind of right after, and he's in a bath, a really hot, scalding hot bath, but he's shivering. And we just see how much of a coward and how afraid of the Kozuki clan like he really is. This is when the reveals start happening. And I want to know how you feel. I want you to walk me through your feelings, your emotions, bro. This is when Denjiro is revealed to be Kyoshiro, the mat. And also Ushimitsu Kozo. And the reason he looks the way he looks, he was so angry that his face was like, when people
altered.
say like, yeah, don't keep making that face, it'll get stuck like that. That's what happened to this man right here. That's what happened to Denjiro. He was so angry for so long, and his face just changed. It got stuck.
I knew there was something up with him. I knew it.
Of course.
I knew it. And it's like, so obviously like purposeful to have him look completely different so you wouldn't even think about it. And no one else would really think about it either. But yeah, because I mean, when he saw Yasu, Orochi saw Yasu for the first time, he was like, I can't believe he's alive. Like, because he kind of looks similar, but to have someone look completely different, it was like sick.
Yeah, and he had even like a little pompadour thing kind of going on.
Yeah.
To help his disguise. But this really blew me away, dude. I did not see this coming from a mile away. And I was like, I was about it. I was for it. I was enjoying this ride. I was enjoying everything. Like, that's when I made a sound out loud like, oh my God, this is such a cool reveal. Because there was that moment when, of course, you maybe thought for a second that Yasu the Hedgehog was this Ushimitsu Kozo person, but then he reveals that he was lying. So you're like, okay, that person's still out there. But everything just like landed for me and everything fell right into place for me with this whole thing. Everything, the way it was woven, just made sense. We finally just got all of it, the story told chronologically.
Yeah.
And even little gaps, kind of even filled in. But he reveals his identity to Hiyori, no one else, because he believes, like, just in case, I do feel like, because I'm sure of, what happened when Kaido was like, maybe I do have a spy, maybe I don't. He was like, all right, just in case, like, do not tell anybody. And we see Orochi at this moment. I believe, I think this is also a flashback, but it might be now cutting back to the present, but then a flashback. Him talking to Kaido about his spy and the devil fruit that he gave him. The spy whose parents were killed from prejudice, the same prejudice that Orochi endured, and was from a family of performers. Already here, and we were talking about it a little bit too, I was like, I was genuinely stuck on this page. Not exaggerating, not being overdramatic, stuck on this page for 15 minutes. 10, 15 minutes stuck on this page because of the way that this figure was introduced. And I don't still know if they were drawn as this like
blobby
black blob
on purpose.
Or
like
if that
just
was
to hide their
true
identity.
form.
Yeah.
I don't know, because then maybe it is like, I don't know. Because they looked like that and then were presented the devil fruit.
Yeah.
But also this could just be a way to like mask this person's identity. I don't know. But I was like going back and forth, reading that page probably 20, 30 times to try to understand what was actually happening. But yeah, this is when we cut back to the present. Kinemon and gang, after the devastation and the realization that nobody is there, their 20-year plan, everything seems to be and have already
devastated.
Has already fallen apart.
Yeah.
And the spy reveals himself to be none other than Kanjiro, who I have to say, first of all, Kanjiro, reveals himself to be Kurozumi Kanjiro. I have to say, first of all, how did you feel?
I mean, I said it before. I was not expecting that at all.
Me neither.
Yeah.
And I was also a little heartbroken because of just everything that happened in Zoe.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. He's been with us for so long, I feel like. And we've just
He's been
come
with them
to
for
like,
even longer.
Yeah, exactly. And we just come to like him. And I even said like in a previous episode, I was like, I like that guy. That guy's cool.
Yeah. I'm so glad this didn't get spoiled. This didn't get ruined.
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of surprised too. But I mean, you know, that whole thing with them and Zoe and the creatures that he was drawing, he was just so funny. And like,
yeah,
he even in his speech and his monologue, he lost himself in that role. He even tells them like, it's to you guys, like, it's kind of, I don't really dislike you guys. Like, it's nothing personal to like you guys against you guys. Like, it's just, you know, this is the role I was given.
This
and
is business.
yeah. And this goes beyond you guys. This is because of like Oden's father and the Shogun, you know, that basically cursed my family for generations. He was resigned to death too, but then feels like he was given a purpose from Orochi and was even willing to die in the oil. That's how dedicated to this role he was. Looking for someone to lay his bones. Yeah. I was so shocked, so surprised.
Same.
But also like a little fucking sad, dude.
Of course. I was sad for all of them. It was like one of these, a person that you've known for years is just like a complete fake and has been working actively against you to make sure what you're trying to do does not succeed. It's just like the trust was like,
yeah,
like insane.
And it goes back to, again, because when we first met him and the time we spent with him, I was like, damn, like Kanjiro's kind of funny, dude. Like I like Kanjiro a lot, and it is what it is, dude. He sucks. Everything seems to be even more devastating than before. He reveals himself, of course, to everybody, Kinemon and gang, seeing their heartbreak, experiencing, you know, my own emotions, finding out that he can draw a lot better too.
Bro,
that was a facade.
That was so lit. That was so lit. I was like, of course. Everything was an act.
Everything was an act.
How much he could have helped them. And
he's been actively working against them.
Yeah.
Or at least like maybe not actively working against them, but he's been allowing things to happen or passing information on. And that's why Jack was at Zoe. That's how they knew Raizo was on Zoe. Because of Kanjiro. Like
Bruh moment.
But it seems like it can't get any worse than this. And in the distance, we hear through even just word bubbles, man. I hear Luffy's voice. Like I hear it. And it lifts my spirits and it gets me so pumped. But the reveal was even crazier than I thought because Luffy, Kid, and Law arrive. There's this beautiful spread and the three of them take up 2 pages. We see them all and Luffy tells them, when you're at sea, you fight against pirates. And that's kind of where it ends. You know, it ends. We do see some of, or I think even one of, just Kaido's ships coming to kind of confront them and stop them.
Mm-hmm.
If it's more than one, it's not a lot because they've been given the information from Kanjiro that it's just a small ship left. They did not expect Luffy, Law, or Kid to be there again. They thought that they were locked up. They thought that Law was prisoner. And they just, yes. I was so happy to see them again. I was so happy to see Luffy again.
The hope's back.
And to hear, I was reading it, but to hear his voice, and that is where this chunk of chapters that we're covering in our part 1 video ends. Holy fucking shit.
Bro.
Holy fucking fuck shit. Holy fucking fuck.
That might have been like some of the best chapters I've ever read of One Piece. It was just so fun. And it just really, I mean, a lot of One Piece just makes me happy, but this just made me happy and sad. And, the context was just like so needed. And it made me care for all of these characters so much more than I already did. And I'm scared because I don't want anyone to die.
It just brought everything together. It tied up everything. And the stakes for Wano and the stakes for what is at stake is massive now. Now we have the context, and now there's so much more. So much more that is at stake here. And we feel even more connected, like you said, to these characters. And I mean, I in terms of like the reading experience, like I planned on like, taking a break at a certain point to like eat and
human stuff.
Yeah, human stuff. And I was like, I'll do it at the end of this chapter. I'll just take a break at the end of this chapter. Nope, too fucking sick. Got to keep going. And like that just kept happening. Like I couldn't put this down. I couldn't put it down. Physically, it was impossible. Again, these are our first reactions, our first impressions, and we try to stay away for the most part from other people's perceptions of these things. But I do imagine and know to some degree that there, of course, will always be people who might not like this flashback or whatever. I just don't understand.
I can't comprehend.
I can't comprehend that.
I can't get
it. I would love to one day sit down with somebody and have a conversation, because for me, this just felt so. It was all encompassing. It again felt so perfect. It exceeded expectations. It tied everything together. It gave us a chronological, like beat by beat sort of playthrough of bits and pieces of information that we have been fed throughout the story from chapters and chapters and chapters back. It showed the clash of Whitebeard and Roger, and it showed Roger's crew discovering the One Piece, the origin of Laugh Tale, Oden's death. Like, it just doesn't, this, like, stories just don't get better than this. Like, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. Yeah, I just, Wano is so important, and I understand why. And now I understand why when people said all the way back in Punk Hazard, like, oh yeah, Punk Hazard, like in the grand scheme of things, like going back, it does kind of feel like not as at the time, without any context, it doesn't feel like it might like hold up or be at the same level as other arcs.
I mean, you'll say that about Thriller Bark too.
But it's all important. It's all purposeful. It's all setting up and leading us to a very clear destination. I am just so taken, man. I mean,
Take me,
dude. Take me. Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
It was great. There was a point that I didn't bring up. So like I wrote like the definition of a boiling point.
Okay.
One's limit in patience, temper, or what is this? Equanimity. After one loses control of one's emotions. I thought that was just like so fitting for like he's literally boiling
Right.
Like this is the boiling point for
Right.
everything that moves forward.
Wow. Yeah.
And how he had a deep down, like put everything down, dance for the people that like shot his wife, like killed his friend's wife, like, you know, are taking away everything in their land, and he has to dance for these people to save other lives. Like he has to put all this down and dig it like deep, and this is the boiling point.
Wow. Yeah, I love that, Mehgan. I love that.
I didn't bring it up. I got too caught up.
Wow.
In the boiling.
But that's why, yeah, it's so perfect. Born to boil, to that term, boiling point. And Oden saying from the beginning, you know, and Oda does that, right? Where he gives us these lines and then they come back and they have a second meaning later on.
Yeah.
But I love that.
I just was like, I was like boiling. Like he's literally at a boiling point. This is the like,
and at a boiling point too. Like this story, this moment.
Exactly.
You know, like this was amazing. This was amazing. You know, we have what after this episode? We have 3 episodes left.
Isn't it crazy to say that?
I can't, dude. I can't. Not only can I not imagine what is going to happen in these.
I can't imagine not binging it.
Right. But I also can't imagine what is after this. Like, what is after this? I don't know. I can't wait to find out. I cannot wait to find out. That's going to do it for our Wano Act 3 Part 1 discussion, the flashback arc, the Hour of Legends. Stay tuned.
Woo!
We got 3 more episodes left. Cosplays for all 3 of them. All 3 of them.
And I think they're going to be some good ones.
Oh, yeah, dude. I think they're going to be... I'll say this. I think one of them, if we execute it the way we want to execute it, is going to be hilarious. And the other 2 are just going to be awesome. The other 2 are going to be awesome. But the other one is going to be hilariously awesome.
I can't wait.
If all goes according to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned for those episodes, those discussions. Let us know your thoughts, where you were at when you were reading this, if you've already read it, or if you read it week to week or whatever, because I do, and I am fascinated, and I do empathize with people who had to wait. You know, we got a comment from someone who said, like, yeah, I get it, but like, you know, people week to week, we've been in Wano for 4 years. Like, we're
that's crazy. I can't even imagine.
And we've almost read the entirety of One Piece in a year. So of course we're gonna have a different, and
Yeah, we've been in Wano for like a couple weeks, and we're almost gonna be done in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so I know that we are like, our experience will be different and stuff, but I definitely want to go back. Even though we got to experience it the way we did, like, and if I imagine, I can't say, but if I was a week-to-week reader, I would definitely, once the story is maybe completely finished, I would definitely go back, start to finish, and read all of it. But stay tuned for more cosplays, more discussions. Let us know what you think. If you read it for the first time with us, let us know your thoughts. And if you've already read it in however long ago that was, let us know your thoughts. And yeah, a lot of fun stuff still planned, still coming in the future. And if you like the way we looked in our Done Piece shirts today, consider clicking the link in the description, or I think you'll see little pictures underneath the video.
Yeah, we have like the t-shirts, we have hoodies,
Jolly Roger stickers too.
Yeah.
Just celebrate the journey of Done Piece.
Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for our discussion, but not the episode. We're not done yet. Before we go, we have to shout out and we have to thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing, our Patreon and YouTube members. Thank each and every one of you guys from the bottom of our heart this entire journey. Man. Again, I've said it many times, but because we're getting to the end of it, I get even more emotional, more sentimental. The amount of support that we've gained over the course of this journey from way back when we started to now has moved both of us, has shocked, surprised both of us, and it's something that we never take for granted and are eternally and will be eternally grateful for. Your support means so much to us, that you give, like, out of like your hard-earned money, out of just
your
the
heart.
kindness of your heart.
Yeah.
Like that you are enjoying, that we can offer anything, that we can
make a shift easier. Make an early episode, something you look forward to in a shitty week. Like,
That
these
we
are
can
all
play-
crazy things that, like, it's so hard to, like, comprehend. Like, wow, like, this is so... just making people happy is
that we can
just,
play any part in that
Yeah.
by going through and talking about series and sharing our joy and excitement for series that we all love.
Yeah.
Like, we are so fortunate, and we appreciate it so much that you, out of the kindness of your heart, like, support us the way you do. It means
And believe in us.
so much.
And believe in us.
And are
And
just
believe
so
in...
kind and so
Yeah.
understanding and just really awesome people. Our community is
The best.
the best.
The best.
And
You can't
it's-
argue it. It's just factual. Like, it's just facts.
Yeah.
All print or no facts.
All printer, no facts. We love you guys so much, and we are so grateful. This show
all
wouldn't-
facts, no printer.
All
That's-
facts, no printer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I meant.
Oops.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Yikes.
Ha!
This show wouldn't be what it is without you. We wouldn't be able to do it to the extent that we do with the cosplays, with everything, the equipment, all of it. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. We wouldn't at this capacity, for sure, for sure. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. If you are not a Patreon or YouTube member and you would like to become one, all you got to do to become a Patreon member, it's very easy. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/volume1pod or to become a YouTube member. It's even, I think, maybe a little easier. All you got to do is click join somewhere next to the subscribe button on this video. Most of what you get is going to be the same across both places. You're going to get early access to all of our episodes, and you're going to get access to our exclusive bonus episode, our bonus extra Patreon YouTube member exclusive episode that never gets released anywhere else. Volume 1 Extra, you're going to get access to that as well. And we talk about everything. We talk about we just talked about some personal behind the scenes stuff, but we talk about other media in general. We talk about movies. We talk about TV shows, anime and manga too. Anything and everything.
Lately, a little bit of D&D talk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We're getting into it.
Yeah, and so you only get those, like I said, they never go up anywhere else. You only get those and have access to those as a Patreon member or a YouTube member. And you can get early access and access to those at our lowest tier on both places.
And YouTube members get little emojis next to their names.
Yeah,
So
YouTube is like, I think Patreon's like $3 and YouTube is like $5, and that's just because of YouTube's cut. But the way you can also kind of look at it is you're also maybe paying a little bit more because, yeah, you get access to custom emotes when we do lives and you're in the chat. You know, you can send like member comments.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff like
light up
that.
in the chat, and then also like in the comments, you'll have a little icon next to
You
it.
get badges.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. So, decide which one suits you,
If any.
And patreon.com/volume1pod to become a Patreon member, and clicking join somewhere next to the subscribe button to become a YouTube member. But if you are at a place in your life right now where you can't donate financially, or you just flat out don't want to, please never feel bad about that. Never, ever feel bad about that, because there are plenty of other ways that you could show your support that matter just as much to us that you could do for absolutely free that Mehgan will tell you all about right now.
Yes, if you have no more berries to spare, don't worry. No worries at all. All you have to do to support us, it's for free 99. You can comment on any one of our videos. You can like any one of our videos, or even subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And it acts as a free tip to us and our channel. Any and all comments feed the hungry algorithm and spreads our videos far and wide. So it really, really, really does help us out so much. Sharing the videos, giving some ratings on audio-only platforms if that's something that you are listening to now, and or just want to leave us a nice review. It definitely helps us out so much. And it is the same as if you can't support us financially, there's no worries. You can do that for absolutely free. And follow us on our socials, Instagram, Twitter, and even Discord. Discord is great. There's a great community of people there that hold it down. Shout out to everyone in our Discord. You guys are goats, all of you. And also join the algorithm gang today.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Mehgan. Any and all ways you choose to show your support, even if you're here all the way at the very, very, very end, still watching, still listening, even if it's in the background, view duration for longer form videos like this really, really helps in the algorithm.
There was someone who commented that they're just listening on this mute and letting it play through.
They said, watched it once, played it back again.
Are
on
you an
mute.
angel?
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to
I
you.
should have brought up the username, but you know exactly who you are, and you are a goat. A goat? What's that mean? He's like, he is a goat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's taking it to a whole nother level.
I couldn't believe
dude.
that when I read that. I was like, why are you're the
Yeah.
nicest person in
Amazing.
the world? Are you
Amazing.
kidding me?
Amazing.
Gosh.
So any and all ways you choose to show your support, we really appreciate it. And thank you from the bottom of our heart. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here in our outro that is always the same and never changes, which today, Mehgan, is something about maybe boiling or the
Don't
hour
trust-
of legends or don't trust, okay?
To say red-haired, that was kind of like derogatory to people with red hair.
Yeah. God. Wow.
I was just thinking about the traitor.
Oh, right. Kanjiro. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything bad to people that red hair. I was just thinking of the person with the red hair.
Right.
Don't trust an artist. It's kind of the same
Oh, that's
thing.
kind of, yeah, like, come on, Mehgan. Damn. Jesus Christ. Take it easy. You're going after groups of people.
Yeah, I was born to boy y'all. R.I.P. Oden.
R.I.P.
Oden, more like, oh, damn.
Oden. I like it because that's, I think, more on brand, and I like it. Oden, more like, oh, damn.
What a great start.
What a legend.
What a legend. Yeah.
Oh, damn. What a legend. Okay. All right. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
Oden, more like, oh, damn. What a legend. What a guy.
The whole boiling point thing, Mehgan. Damn, that was awesome.
Yeah, he can get it too.
Oden?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we talking about that gate, boy. Yeah. Open the gate.
Yeah.
Open the floodgates.
Yeah. That shit would have been rocking.
Yeah,
How do you have
that-
those babies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have been.